Every Overwatch season leaves its unique mark on the game. Reign of Talon Into the Tiger's Den is the third seasonal update for Overwatch in 2026, introducing a new damage hero, gameplay changes, map, and a renewed focus on Talon. In this episode, we, along with a very special guest, will talk about all of that and more. Hey everyone, and welcome to Dysfunctional with DY and Luna. My name is DY.
And my name is Luna.
And welcome to our overall talking about Season 3. And we would like to introduce a very special guest.
Heroes never die. Hello.
I love that.
Hello, I am Vinny, and I play Overwatch a lot. It's been my new obsession since the start of this year.
As with a lot of people.
Yes. Yes, and I am a Mercy main, a Widow main, and a Domina main currently.
Nice.
Yes.
I personally knew Brittany from like way before, I think in 2020. Something
Not that
along.
long.
Really?
No, it was I think 2023 we met. Or 20,
Oh, okay.
2020. Yeah, because it was around the time I started started talking with some of the other people who would stream on that server.
Oh, yeah. We've known each other for a few years.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I noticed that she started playing Overwatch and I started to invite her, and we've been playing pretty much ever since she got into Overwatch again, so.
Yeah, me and DY, our duo, I guess, inadvertently became a trio, I guess. So
Yeah.
we figured, since we're doing an overall season review for this newest season of Overwatch, we figured we might as well go ahead and have Brinny along here with us as someone who's also played basically every single day of the season. It was a nice little way to have her be included and have another perspective on this, because I know she has some different views on some of the stuff that me and DY do. So not only bring her in, but also have another perspective in.
Yes.
So if you're wondering, why don't you just review the other seasons? Because the podcast didn't exist. Plain and simple. The podcast did not exist prior to the other, 4 years of this
And that
game.
would take way too long.
Way too long. And honestly, some of the earlier seasons from 2022 and early 2023 were just really bad in terms of some of the mechanics that they had. And I don't want to talk about it. So we're not.
Do you really want every other episode of this podcast to be an Overwatch episode? Because that's kind of how we're going right now.
Look, as we said it, I think we said it in the intro to Overwatch episode, where because this is a live service game, we're always going to have content to talk about it. We're just trying to get some of our pre-recorded stuff out of the way. But moving right along, though, some of the stuff that was introduced into Season 3. Oh my god, I'm getting way ahead of myself. The main draw for Season 3 was the new damage hero, Shion, and what she brings in with the lore and her gameplay. She, along with every other hero that's set to release this year, was introduced with the Spotlight event back in February. And she was cloaked in shadows, and we knew basically nothing about her. So what was your guys' reaction to when she was revealed and, what her backstory is? Because I know me and DY were speculating on it for, at least a week.
I think from the get-go I was kind of inclined to believe that she was going to be Hashimoto, because that felt like how it was going. Because in the past, we've known that like the Hashimoto has been aligned with Talon and with Vendetta taking over, and that whole thing. I feel like it was a dead giveaway that something like this would happen with Shion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and also we didn't really have a character that represented anybody from the Hashimoto. We had people surrounding the Hashimoto, like we had Kiri and Mizuki for the yokai, and then by extension Hanzo and Genji and their clan that's against the Hashimotos. So it was only a matter of time we were going to get a hero that's a representative of that agency or that group. It just took them a really long time to do so. Because I feel like the concept of having a character from the Hashimoto has been a want that people have been speculating for years. I feel like for years people wanted a hero to come from the Hashimoto. And now
Yeah.
it's finally been fulfilled. And I think, personally, I think they did a really good job with her execution in the way that she was, not only in terms of her gameplay, but also how she's presented in the lore. Because, like, as much as I like Sierra's introduction from last season, she didn't really do much, and people weren't really happy with her gameplay. It almost felt like when Shion came in, it was like, it clearly felt like more care was put into her rather than Sierra's, which is really weird because you would think that they would have the same level of like love and care and effort put into like their designs or their lore or what have you. Because like, what do we know about Sierra? Her mom is missing and she joined Overwatch, and that's kind of it. Meanwhile, with
Well, she was
Shion,
head of security at Helix.
yeah, but we barely know about Helix to begin with. We know that Farah worked for them for a while, but that's like kind of it. We don't have much information about them. So it's like, okay, cool, we're getting more on that, but it wasn't enough for a lot of people. At
Yeah.
least I felt like. That being said though, what was your, and this goes for everybody here, what was like your first, I guess, like her design, I guess, just straight up how she looks, because when her design was revealed, everybody had a hissy fit about it. I remember everyone just being like, why does she look like that? And I think, at least for us, we were like, oh, she's designed like that because that's clearly a lore implication. Why else would she look like that as opposed to every other Omnic that's on the roster? There's a reason for it. We ended up being right because that would later be shown in the lore, like a little while afterwards. But when she was first released, I felt like people either loved or hated her design and how she looked. And I'm wondering like why that is.
I never actually saw people like hating on her design. Like that to me is like I did not realize people were hating on her design. I because I think her design is fantastic. Her lore is also really interesting. And if you're in the game and you're in your game, you have Shion and Ramacha on your team. There is a voice line between them. How Ramacha calls her out, and it's like, do you pose yourself as a human? And then she talks about her backstory. Like before, she used to be imprisoned, and then but then she became over time. She then overcome that and became the new elder of the Hashimoto. So it talks into like her backstory, how like she has scars from all those experiences, and that's why she looks like a human.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember distinctly when the trailer for her came out, I was like, that's a different looking Omnic, because from the get-go you could tell that she was an Omnic, but like obviously she looks like she's human. So that was my initial reaction. I'm like, huh, that's interesting.
And I also want to talk about her introduction. I think some people pointing this out, how the juxtaposition of like how like we have this Omnic who is appearing as human, and then when she's fighting Sojourn, Sojourn is a human who has enhanced like cybernetics stuff. Like she has
Yeah,
what
yeah,
is
yeah.
it? Yeah, so it's,
Enhancements. And
yeah, she has
cybernetic enhancements.
enhancements. So I remember someone like made a point how it was like it's how some people were making a point how like Omnics are trying to look more human, whereas like humans are trying to look more like no. So although it does not fully accurate because we know in Sojourn's law is completely different, but it was like that was like an interesting thing we're pointing out.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
very it's very like subtle commentary, weirdly enough. But also like Overwatch takes place like in the far, far future of like 2070, whatever. And even then I feel like I'm like guesstimating on that. So it probably would stand to reason we with the track we're going at right now, it would seem a logical step of like this would be the next step in like prosthetics, and things like that. And then
Yeah.
obviously in Sojourn's case, it would be using to help with battle. Because I'm assuming she got a lot of this done when she originally was in Overwatch, like back in her younger days, presumably.
I think some of it is definitely like I think a lot of it was made for battle. I know the reason. I think when she was a lot younger, she had a lot of health issues, and that's why she got a lot of cybernetics done. But I think that after she joined Overwatch, it definitely like was used more for fighting.
Mm-hmm. Let's get into Shion's actual like gameplay because this everyone I think can unanimously agree she's really fun to play. You have to be she's on the same level of technicality. I would make an argument. I don't think she's as hard as playing as somebody like Tracer, but she has a similar play style to Tracer. She's like a less punishing version of Tracer, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
You have like two different movement abilities. You have your pistols, you have your ult. And the main thing that everybody when the trailer came out, the cinematic trailer that came out, and she had a bike, she had a motorbike. Everybody was like, is that bike part of her kit? Yes, it is. You can physically ride a bike in the game, and it is amazing. It is so ridiculous, but it fits in Overwatch in its gameplay so well. I don't think a game like Valorant or something like that or Apex could have a character like this where a bike just appears out of nowhere and you can throw it at people. Like
That was definitely everybody's initial thing because obviously Overwatch is very action based and fighting based. So I feel like a lot of people were definitely like, so can you throw the bike at people?
that everyone wanted to throw the bike, and when it was revealed, yes, you can, everyone was like, this is a net win for us. Like we wanted this so bad. We didn't know we wanted it until we saw it, and then when we saw it, we were like, we need it, and then we got it.
Yeah. She was very broken at the beginning, but they've nerfed her since. But I feel
Still very
like
good.
yeah, everyone was playing her. Everyone would get the play of the game basically every single time with how broken she was.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think she's still very good, but definitely not broken anymore. Like she is a great yeah, she's a great hero. And I feel like, and like her character as well, she honestly acts like a crazy woman, which is like so iconic. Like she had like, even when you sometimes do her call outs, when she, like when you do a call out, you can be like, oh, almost have my ultimate, or I have my ultimate is ready. When you do it for her, it gets like so giddy about it. It's like, oh, I have
She's
my,
actively wanting to kill people. She's
yeah,
like,
I'm
I'm
ready to
so
kill
ready for this.
everyone.
yes.
And that's a perfect segue into one of her nano voice lines. Whenever she gets nano boosted by Ana, she'll literally just scream, and I love it so much.
Yeah, there's a chance where she will just have the most guttural unhinged scream I have ever heard, and we want to give massive props to the voice actress, a relatively new voice actress from our research. I don't know where Blizzard is finding these people, but oh my god, the casting director needs a raise. They did such a good job casting her. I want to give such massive props to the voice actress. She's absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
I don't think Shion would have been as likable as a character. Granted, she is a villain, but like likable in the way that she presents herself and the way of her interactions. I don't think it would have hit as hard if it wasn't for her voice performance. This is like absolute like masterclass. Um, but yeah, let's go ahead and talk about some of her abilities and just kind of like basic information about her. We already said she's a damage dealer. She's a flanker, as again the tracer comparison I mentioned. She's got her Kira pistol. She has dual wielding pistols, again similar to Tracer. I love her reload animation. Her reload animation is so cool. She literally she jolts the magazines out and then they'll come up and she'll like click it into place in midair. And that's
Very action
so
movie.
it's very action movie. But it's
Also
so
her
fucking cool.
Yeah. Also her pistols, they have decals on them. Like this is the very first ever like Overwatch character that's had like a actual like I guess weapon skin without it being a weapon. Like think of Counter-Strike and those weapon skin. That's what I'm thinking of when I first saw this. But it has like a tiger decal on it, and like this is the first ever Overwatch hero that's had a weapon with something like that isn't a mythic
Like,
skin.
yeah, it's almost like it's branded as the Hashimoto, obviously, but it feels like the Hashimoto either made the gun with that in mind or she customized it to look like that. Either way, it looks sick as hell. Either way, it looks really cool.
Yeah, her design is really good, and the skin she got. So they gave her a skin, which was about 30. I think like 30. I don't know
It
about
was
in
for the
dollars, but for me it was
ultimate.
33
Yeah,
pound.
yeah.
Pounds.
It was for the ultimate battle pass. Yeah, the biker skin.
Yeah. It's such a good skin. I wish I could get it, but I just can't spend that much money, sadly.
I think it's the hair. I like it, but I think the thing that ruins it for me is the hair. It just
I think it's the
it bothers me.
For me. I think it's the collar for me because one of her victory poses, she like crosses her arms and it almost looks like her gun is like covering her face. When her body is turned at that angle, the collar covers up like half of her face.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, all right, guys. At least we know if they ever do an Akira or the Cyberpunk 2077 collab, we know she's gonna get it, and we want her to get it.
Please. Which both with Cyberpunk was in a survey collab, so
just saying. Also Blizzard, you could have waited on the Persona collab and give Makoto to her, because then the bike would have made fucking sense. But I digress. I have to mention it at least once.
I'm making it a joke at this point, but she's mentioned Persona again.
Yeah, we might as well keep it counter. But anyway, might as well keep it counter. Yeah. Either way, I think the skin is really cool. I don't like the fact that it's in the Ultimate Battle Pass. Like, why couldn't it just be in either A, the regular Battle Pass, or B, why is that her only skin? That's a trend that I've noticed. Like, it's been like this for a while, but like, give these characters at least a base legendary skin like how it used to be in Overwatch 1. Why did we stop doing that other than for money purposes?
Yeah, the first ever legendary skin that every single hero has gotten so far that's been new has been Battle Pass locked.
In some way, shape, or form, yeah. And it's
And
kind
it's
of
not great.
It pissing me off. Don't like that. Continuing on with her kit though, she has few abilities. We mentioned the motorbike, which again you can use to throw at people, which we've already talked about. You can also just use it as a means to escape. It's just a really good escape tool. Um, it is in third person, so the controls can be a little bit janky the first time, but I think we've come around, and I think it's pretty easy to steer.
Yeah.
Um, she has like a simple evade. She has what she calls an execution, which is just basically she charges up her pistols and she shoots a ton of bullets in an X formation. And then lastly, her ultimate is basically a like modified version of a Reaper ult, essentially. Where she 3 times within a time span will spin around or like move forward and spin a series of bullets. So again, when timed correctly, it's super badass. If you mess it up, you're screwed. So it's a high risk, high reward alt because again, something like Reapers, for example, you can still be killed out of it. So if you have good marksman skills, you can kill an ulting Shion.
I think, yeah, when it comes to like her kit, I do think her kit is nice. I like the overhealth you can get when you do the evade. Because then it's like she's not entirely like, punishable. Like she can at least she has a bit more survivability to her, and that's nice to have.
Yeah.
Mhm. I don't like the fact I do too. I don't know if I like how the overhealth fades away so quickly. It's like you get it and then it just like it's gone in like 2 seconds. But I
It
also feel like
could,
if they left it longer, it would have been way too
yeah,
overpowered.
yeah, especially since she already it's 5 seconds her cooldown. So already that's a lot. And if you collect her major perk, which is the Faces of Death, where she can get every single sub roll.
Which is broken as hell, by the way. It is such a good perk, but oh my god, it's broken as hell. Same thing with the
Yeah.
execution perk, or Ex Machina, where her execution does 20% more damage if a character's below half health. That one's also broken if you time it correctly. Like, like I remember when Faces of Death was revealed, everyone was like, "That seems super overpowered," and they're right. It is absolutely super overpowered.
But it's
Like in
great
the
though.
right hands, it's like, yeah, no, it's awesome. But yeah, in the wrong hands, like a really good Shion player, she is a menace, which I guess is the point. So good on you,
Mhm.
Blizzard.
Yeah. The way I like to play Shion is like just basically play like a crazy woman because she is a crazy woman, so I just like kind of like going the crazy mode with her as well. But as well, like I mentioned, I also main not only do I main Widow, but I also play a lot of Cass, a lot of Sojourn. I've started playing more Ash, and those are like characters who require a lot of like good aim. So when I'm playing Shion, I feel like I can do really well with her because I just know how to aim properly,
Mhm.
Mhm.
and it can be very overpowered if you know how to aim with Shion.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
like a lot of my games, I end up like finishing with a lot of like final blows because I just
Yeah.
purely off of aim.
It's really
Mhm.
fun.
Yeah, she's a really fun addition. Again, as much as like, because again, people weren't really super receptive for Sierra when she was revealed. So it's like to have such a love for a character like this that people have kind of been begging for like at least a few months to a couple of years. It's nice that it's just like I don't know, she's a really amazing addition. And something that was also an addition to the season was the new map that's associated with Shion, Neon Junction, another Japanese map. This one was teased for a while. We had concept photos at least a year. I want to say this map has been teased for like a year, seemingly. But it's a. I was gonna say it's an escort. It's not. It's a hybrid. It's a hybrid map, and it's the first hybrid map we've had in a while. At least again another few years. But I think it's awesome. Not
If
just
I
because it's a
remember,
hybrid.
If I remember correctly, it was released around the time the Antarctica rework, Watchpoint Antarctica rework happened. Like, or that they announced that they would be fixing Watchpoint Antarctica. Like, I think it was sometime around there, so it's been probably at least a year-ish.
Yeah. Yeah, something like that. We first saw this map in OWCS, aka Overwatch Esports. And I was really curious as to how the teams would utilize the map because obviously like we have a very smaller pool of maps because a lot of them were taken out of rotation. Things like Assault aka 2CP, Clash was also completely just like not used. And I think
Bring back
only
Clash
two
and
out of the
remove Flashpoint.
but I was very impressed with what the pros did with that map. Again, I already liked the aesthetic of the concept photo that they shared, and I was very impressed with how they executed it. They said that they based it off of King's Row, and I think because that map is so beloved, that's a good like stepping stone for it. It's still like you can see the where like the inspirations lie between both of the maps, but I think Neon Junction is its own thing. Like it has its own identity. And there's like bits and pieces of it that I think stick out to have its identity.
I agree.
Yeah. The main one is the environmental hazard that's in this game. This is not a new environmental hazard that you or your enemies can die from. This has been a thing for other maps. But this one I think is done differently in a way, or it's done in a way that makes it feel fresh.
Mhm.
And that is the subway train. The subway train. This dumbass train, I love it so much. Basically, in an interval of, I think it was like 15 seconds or something, it's like a specific interval of time where it'll give warnings of the subway train is coming, and if you are in the vicinity of it, it's a one-shot kill. But if you are smart enough, you could easily lead your enemies to it and they get killed. Um, or if you're not paying attention or you can't get out of there in time, you're also having that that one KO on
There's been a
yourself.
lot of there's been a lot of people that when we play on the map get hit by the train, and we always laugh every single time.
It is so funny. I think there was at one point, I might be wrong, but I remember seeing a clip somewhere of somebody using Jetpack Cat and then having it so that way they run themselves into where the train is and they end up killing the opponent with it.
Oh
Which
my
is
god.
really funny. Like it's easy enough to avoid. Like the map gives you so many indications that the train is coming. So many indications. But again, if you don't have good spatial awareness or you're too like locked in and focused, that isn't like an instant KO. And I think that's a good way to do something like this where as long as you're paying attention to it and you're aware of your surroundings, it's not going to do anything. But if you realize that your enemy team is not as spatial, doesn't have that spatial awareness, you could use that to your advantage. And I like that. And let me tell you, there was definitely a lot of fun that people had when that map first came out. There was so much fun things that came from it, including the bees. There's a specific section in the map where if you hit it enough times, you can die from bees. And apparently there's a kill icon for it now. So if you want to waste like 20 minutes, you could easily do that.
Not the bees.
Not the bees.
But yeah,
But
I
yeah,
love the overall image of this map. It's very Japan coded, which they usually do a very good job of their research when creating these maps. But I feel like this one there's a daytime version where it's like you can it's just basically sunny all the time. But then the nighttime version, all the neon signs glow and it just lights up the area, and I think it's perfect.
it looks so good. in the nighttime. It also makes the final third point even more like intimidating, because when it's in the daytime it's just like, oh, it's just a random like building, but in the night it looks even cooler. The third point, of course, being the Hashimoto's base. I actually really like this third point. I think I don't understand why there's a theater and why we're taking the payload to a theater, but you know what? Whatever. I guess the Hashimoto really, really wants to fund the arts, I guess. Like
They love art.
they do. What about you, Bryn? How do we feel about the map? How do we feel
Neon
about like
Junction. It's a great map. I do like it. Of course, like I like a lot playing a lot of hybrid and push map, like not push, payload maps. Like I am very pro for those maps. So see, getting Neon Junction, which is a hybrid map. Yeah, it's a hybrid map.
Yeah.
It's a really great map. Because it's really great. You can play a lot of characters that I like to interchange between a lot of things. Yeah, it's a great map, but personally, really. And I also just like, yeah, the train is such a like smart idea. It just reminds me of like the whole like what's it called? The whole fight between Sojourn and Shion.
Yeah.
Oh, in the trailer, yeah.
Yeah.
It also makes sense because Japan is known for their bullet trains, their high-speed subway system. So it makes sense that they would have a subway just running through like mainstay Tokyo or like wherever specific in Japan it takes place. It
Yeah.
would make sense. It would make so much sense, and it's such a good design decision to do that. Because they've noticed that the player base really likes environmental hazards because it punishes bad players who don't have that peripheral or that spatial awareness. And again, if you use it to your advantage, it can get your enemies like off guard. And I really like that if you can use it well enough to your advantage.
Yes.
Reminds me of all the clips back in the day of Oasis and the street and people just like walking out in the street and getting hit by one of the cars that drives
The
by.
cars, yeah. Or there was a clip that I saw where it was a cat and she was trying to run away and she accidentally hit herself in one of the traffic on Busan.
No.
Yeah, she was too young to die. We might as well talk about some of the cosmetics. Let's mainly talk about the battle pass and the mythics. We might as well get those out of the way. The mythics this season,
We already talked about it's coming out later at some point, but we already talked about the Ilari and the Hanzo mythics. So we can briefly mention them right now, but if you want a more detailed thing about it, you can go look at that other one.
yeah, when we have a whole episode talking about the mythics at the point of recording, so we go into more detail on that. But we might as well briefly talk about them now. My question is, why did Ilari get the skin when it's a Japanese season? Like, she feels so out of place of getting the mythic in this season.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Hanzo getting the weapon skin, alright, cool, I get that. And again, I think I mentioned it in that recorded episode. But it's still like a cool design. It fits the vibe, and
It's very Neon Junction. It like looks like it belongs in Neon Junction. Like he stole it from Neon Junction or something.
Mm-hmm.
It's like yeah, wasn't that a whole thing with like weapons and that?
Yeah. There's in Neon Junction in the last point. There's an entire wall of just a bunch of different weapons. So
yeah,
we can pretend Hanzo stole his mythic weapon from there.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. the one that we didn't really talk about because we didn't know if it was confirmed or not. The Malga skin came out the second half of season 3. This is a bad mythic. I'm saying it right now. It's really fucking bad. This is once again Blizzard doing the bare minimum where the effect is just it glows and that's kind of it.
Yeah.
That is it. You can change the hair, kind of, but again, certain things when you have the glowing effect don't work if you don't have a specific hair equipped.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I think the concept of Mauga being this like islander spirit kind of thing, cool in theory, bad execution. You could have done so much more with that. I think they kind of did this. They could have made the cage like a not a tsunami, but they could have made it like a whirlpool or something. They could have had a bigger like visual effect on that. The only thing I can remember is that the guns, whenever they're being shot, it's like water spurts, and that's like kind of it.
Mm-hmm.
Along with the ultimate, and that's like kind of it.
And also, this is the very first mid-season mythic skin that they haven't. Well, they kind of did with a few things, but normally they would add a nameplate or a player icon. But this is the very first season where this one was like very niche and hidden.
Yeah, it was barely teased. I think there was a weapon charm, and I think there was a souvenir, and that was it.
Yeah,
and
but they don't. But they don't look like anything. And
no,
and
they were very unassuming.
I think from leaks, people had known it was going to be Mauga, and people. One of the weapon charms is like a little tree guy, like an island tree guy, and people were like, "Oh, if he looks like that, that'll be awesome," because that's a very original skin. But no, they really love their mythology and cyborgs.
Yeah, you could have made Mauga basically Tafiti from Moana to hammer in the fact that he's basically just Maui, but no, they couldn't do that. Probably because Disney would be on their ass if they did that. But this was just cool in concept, bad execution. Like, you could have done so much more with this concept. And again, I think people were okay with this concept. Say what you will about Mauga as a character and how he plays. This could have been a cool idea for him to do this. But it just didn't happen. And I feel really pissed about that.
I feel like the only people that like it are the Mauga players.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, everyone else is just like, what is that?
Yeah. Do you have any thoughts on the mythics there, Brent? Any of them? The Alari, the Hanzo, or the Mauga?
The Hanzo weapon, it looks really good. Like that one, I really like. The Alari mythic. The Alari mythic. I'm just so like what. It's Phoenix themed.
It's Phoenix, even though Onron is right fucking there, but
yeah,
whatever.
And that's also something I want to talk about. A lot of people have been complaining about how Onron skins are also just very strange when it comes when it comes to Onron's whole character. She's supposed to kind of like represent a phoenix, and she has a lot of and her whole like abilities are basically like fire. She can ignite enemies and such.
Yeah.
But then when they look at some of her skins, hasn't she gotten like her brother is Wuyang, who uses water-based attacks, but then she's over here getting skin. Like, didn't she get like a rainy day skin or something?
She got a rainy day skin, and nobody recognized it was her because they didn't show her with her weapons, and nobody knew it was her.
Yeah, like that skin was just really strange to me. And then the recent is it still there or is it taken off the shop now? The beach side. I think that skin. I mean, it wasn't a bad one. It was okay. It's just that when it comes to like the theme of characters, like when you're like, obviously I understand it's supposed to be a summer skin, but like when I'm thinking about the themes of some of these characters, because like some of them, like the rest of the characters when they got their summer skins, it still felt like it was on theme for like, oh, this is what they would wear, and like if they're on the beach,
Yeah.
or something.
Hmm.
And for Arnold, it makes sense, but like that's something you would wear if you're on the beach or something. If you're on the beach, but when I think of that, is that something Arnon would actually like? Is that really related towards her character? I just don't really see that. And then we have like that water suit outfit like she got, that one just doesn't make any sense. I don't understand why you wouldn't give Wu Young something like that, because Wu Young's whole her whole kit is based off of water. So but yet you're giving his sister something like a rainy day outfit. But I mean, I could see the vision of if she's in the rain, like her, obviously if fire, like her fire would basically just go. But like even then, it's just really odd. I don't get that skin, and then like so that's why when I look at the Ilari mythic, when they just decided to give her a phoenix, it's like, oh, are you just purposefully like getting? But I remember there was the whole outrage also over Anwan's face as well back when they first released
Yes.
Anwan, her face. A lot of people said she looked like Juno, so they had to like and like everyone was like talking about how like she looks like Juno, so they had to like change it, and it was and they ended up doing like a lot of like change, like did a whole change to her posture, her whole change, like they lifted her they did like some facelift or whatever, so to make her look more confident, and it looks much better. I do agree. Although some people are still complaining because apparently when I think it was in Wu Yang's comic when they showed Anran, well, I don't know where it was, but
It was,
It was the cinematic,
it was a
like the
cinematic,
animated
yeah.
cinematic.
Yeah, she had a more pronounced facial features in that 3D animation.
Yeah, I remember people still talk about how like they're like telling Blizzard to bring back her nose because her nose is like completely different. So
Yes.
people, yeah. Even though I think right now she looks perfect, she looks much better than she did before, and I'm happy for her to stay like this. I think she looks fine, but yeah, it's just like it's when I saw like it was. I'm glad Ilavi got a mythic. Like I think she deserved. But her getting a Phoenix theme, like it makes a Phoenix theme for her, for Alari, it makes a lot of sense. The issue is Arnon's right there. If Arnon didn't exist, it would be like I would think that's a great that's a great mythic.
Yeah.
Like I do think it's a yeah. I think if Arnon just wasn't there, it's fine. But because Arnon's right there, it's just like why is she getting a Phoenix theme mythic? Why didn't she get something that's more towards the sun and moon, which would be even better than a Phoenix? But I'm not like a Phoenix is not bad. The only reason it's an issue is because you have a character whose whole like she like her ultimate literally looks like has her like have wings. It's like a Phoenix, and then and like if she can rise back up from the dead like a Phoenix. So it's like why are we giving? Why do we have Ilari having a Phoenix mythic?
It's because they want to give Anran a mythology skin when she eventually gets her mythic. That's why.
Also that, and I feel like people would get pissed if Anran, a relatively new character, got a mythic before anybody else.
Yeah.
Also, Divine Desperado Cassidy could have went, which is sun themed by the way, could have went to Ilari.
Yes, it could have. Oh my god, yes. Like her whole thing is that she's like the people of the sun or something like that of like her original village. Thank you. Yes, you could have. Don't get me pissed all over again. But yes, it could have easily gone to Ilari for that. You could have had a different concept for Cass.
And aside of the concept of the mythic, I think the base color, it looks fabulous. I do like the base color when you the first mythic, and then the other things. I like how you can change, like you can give her wings, or you can like have a cape. I think I prefer the wings personally.
Yeah.
But then I look at other colors. I think the which ones? This is white, blue, purple. I think that one looks good. But then I have this.
The green one is just out of place.
Yeah,
why is the green there?
Yeah, I don't think a phoenix would look like that. I mean, I don't think the phoenix would look like the blue, the blue purple
Well,
white one,
you
but
can
like
get away
it
you
looks
can get away
good
with that.
still.
I feel like you
I was
can get
gonna say,
away with
yeah.
the blue though because hotter fire is always blue.
Yeah, or you could
That
have
is
made it so that way the blue swatch was the moon, maybe, as like a different kind of like what they did with the Juno mythic, where one of them was like an evil corrupted version of the
Hmm.
magical girl. You could have made that one of the color swatches, and I think it would have worked. It also would
Yeah.
have been different. It would have been like another added twist to it, but
yeah.
they did not do that. Did not do
Like,
that.
yeah, I'm just not a fan of the green one at all. Like, I just don't know where to like go with it. I think the blue one looks fabulous. I do think it looks good, but it's just like I feel like when I'm looking at the concept of a phoenix, I would probably just if I was to ever get this mythic, I would probably keep to the main color
Hmm.
because I
Yeah.
think that just I could be convinced to use the blue one because it does look really good. But I like to when I look at these skins, I also like to follow the concept of it, and I think concept wise, I'll just go with the main color.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then when I'm
Overwatch also tends to have a theme with their mythics, not just with them being cyborgs or mythical creatures. It's always red, blue, green 90%
Yeah,
of the time.
they don't really switch up the colors. I'm like Brinny in that case where I do like the purple blue color scheme, but I have it as the red color scheme because to me that makes the most sense because it's a phoenix. And I do agree with DY that if you wanted a blue color scheme, it would make sense because blue fire is just inherently hotter. That's just the science of it. But it just doesn't feel right. It
I
just
feel like
doesn't
maybe if
feel
it was
right.
a lighter color, it would work better. But
Mm,
it's very dark tones. Like
yeah.
like think Azula's fire. If it was that color, I feel like it would work.
Like a neon kind of like almost cyan, like a cyan kind of blue,
Yeah.
like a very very yes. I feel again it would be more striking that way. If you're gonna go with a more muted like purple that they kind of have going on, they could have made it the night theme that I previously mentioned. But
Yeah.
oh well. What about the Mauga skin? There, Bruni.
the Malga skin. I
Horrible.
haven't actually properly looked at the
Horrible.
Malga skin properly, but oh my goodness, yeah. um, I'm not just not a fan of it. Oh my goodness, what his whole face just looks different. What? Look, so he gets
Yeah,
like a
it's
full on
bad.
head. Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. I don't like the mask. Why does the mask look like it shrunk his face? The mask looks like it shrunk its face. Oh my, no, that's not
Once
bad.
again,
Yeah.
red, blue, green.
Yeah. And only the blue one looks good, at least to me.
Yeah.
But like just
Yeah.
barely.
Yeah. Let me look at the aspects. No, the aspects do not help it.
No.
Okay,
No.
iridescent makes him look like something else. I don't know. Dawn makes him look like, okay. Yeah, this mythic is
Wait, he
horrific.
got the lesbian colors? Why did he get the lesbian colors? But like half of
Dawn.
them don't.
I
What the
think
hell?
I think it's because the Dawn aspect is a new one they've just recently added. I think it started from season 1, so Mercy has it.
Yeah.
Does May? Let me look. Does May
Doesn't
have it?
Alari have it?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Alari
she
does have
does.
it.
Alari does, yeah.
Let me look at May. Oh, May doesn't have it.
No, it was only like a select few. Like I know Genji had it.
Oh,
The Mercy had it. I don't remember who all
let me
has it.
see. Genji.
But
When did
there was
Genji get
initially
his first mythic?
season 1.
Yeah,
Like
like
Overwatch
2022
2 season
season
1.
1.
Oh,
Yeah.
Overwatch 2 season 1.
okay. And did he have the Dawn mythic all the way
No,
then?
the Dawn
No.
was introduced a lot later.
The Dawn was
The first
released
one was
this year because the Mercy skin got it. And that was
yes.
one of the very first ones to get it.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
Angel
So
Mercy mythic.
that's interesting. Why like they're being very selective with who gets the Dawn aspect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
it's really weird.
yeah, that's an interesting trade. Yeah. Also, speaking of like the whole mythics, some characters getting a second mythic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously, I know Mercy. We all know Mercy got hers. That was yeah. When that first happened, everyone just had like a whole outrage because and something when I've been looking at it from like I've seen the video on TikTok, Twitter, YouTube. Like I've seen it everywhere, and whoever's behind the account on Blizzard, they were being so shameless about the mythic, about Mercy getting second mythic. They were being so shameless about it. I was like,
Yeah, because they know it would make money.
Well, the
And
funny
it
thing
did.
is, this is a direct quote, pretty much, from the spotlight. Our designers saw this and they just had to make it. No, you
They said the
didn't.
same thing for the Reaper mythic, for the Anubis mythic. They said the same thing, even though Ramatra was literally right there, and it fit him so well in the lore. But they just gave it to Reaper instead, much like how they gave Mercy a second mythic when she already had one, and then her mythic weapon skin. And again, people didn't like her Vengeance mythic skin. I think it's
I
cool. I think
disagree.
it's cool to see her in something different that's not like super cutesy and super girly. I think it's cool that she was in something different, you know?
Mhm.
Yeah, I like I've always looked at the Vengeance. Like I've mentioned this so many times before. Like I look at the Vengeance mythic as what if Overwatch was in a whole alternate universe?
Well, that was
And
the whole theme of that season back when the
Yeah.
mythics actually were in the battle pass and they actually corresponded to the theme of the season.
Yeah. It was the same thing with the Ana mythic. The Ana mythic was also like people swapping their alliances. So if certain characters were Omnics instead of humans, for example, that was Ana's like whole deal with that. And I like the Ana mythic. Once again, I think it's a different take on it that looks really cool, but people complained about it. And that's how we got the second
Mhm.
Ana mythic.
Yep.
so yeah, and now we're getting in season 4. We are now going to be getting a second Genji mythic.
They're
Supposedly.
never gonna top. They're never gonna top the Cyber Ninja. They're never gonna do that. That was
Nobody
their
was
first
complaining
outing.
about that one though.
Wait,
Like
people
as
were
far
complaining about
as I'm aware, that one was a great skin, and
it.
nobody was
Yeah, I
complaining
think.
about it.
Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of is once again Genji's just a really popular hero, and they know the skin's gonna make money. But there's no way they're gonna top that with how the skins have been going thus far. There's no feasible way that they're going to top it. That was
Mhm.
I
their
feel
first
like
ever outing, and it just skyrocketed everyone's expectations of what they should be. But let's move aside from the mythics from one money hungry scheme to another money hungry scheme. The ultra skins were introduced in this season. Everybody hated the concept. Everyone hated the
It's literally if a legendary and a mythic skin had a baby.
in
Not
like the
even.
worst way. Yeah,
Not
in
even.
the worst way.
yeah,
It's a
they should
legendary
have.
skin with mythic aspects, which the mythic
Yeah.
aspects aren't that great to begin with.
Honestly, what
No.
they should have done is just make just don't make the ultra skins. Just completely do just like get rid of that and just make it so that existing legendaries you can now, if you wish, you can just buy just buy like a kill effect for it. I think that would be it's just an add-on. Like now it acts as an add-on, like, and not
Yeah.
just a what's it
Mhm.
called?
The whole premise of it is that they have like lighting aspects and they make special sounds. But then by that aspect, do collab skins count as ultra skins because they do the exact same thing?
Literally the collab that came out this year, or this season, which we will talk about, literally did that. It had custom sounds. Does that count as an ultra skin? No, because it doesn't have a kill effect, which someone else pointed out. Because Kiri has her mythic weapon, if you equip the mythic weapon with her ultra skin, the mythic weapon overrides the kill aspect because the mythic weapons have a kill aspect. So if you bought that Kiri skin, but you equip it with her mythic weapon, the mythic weapon is always going to show up. Always.
Mm-hmm.
So that defeats the purpose then. Why not just make it a regular legendary? I get it. You want to be able you want to express the creativity of your artist. And again, the skins themselves, they look great, and the concept of the cat cafe is a concept people have been wanting, and I do like that, but I think that's very predatory, the fact that they did that. Not only does Kiri get the first ultra skin, but Sierra, a character that the only skin you had to buy for her was the ultimate battle pass last year, and if you didn't, or last season, if you didn't get it, it's going to be in the loot boxes, which we all know the probability of that. So it's like,
Yeah.
if you didn't get it, that's your only Sierra skin. And
My
that's
hope is that they learn from this, which they didn't, but my hope is that they learn from this, that because there were full on boycotts when this was announced.
Mhm. Yeah, it was not good. It clearly, people are hoping, because they originally had weapon skins in the shop before the mythic weapon skins came out. And apparently they didn't sell well, but yet the mythic weapon skins sell great. So I don't know what kind of lesson they're learning about that
I don't.
necessarily. I don't know. I don't know. It was too overpriced. It was completely unnecessary. These could have easily just been legendary skins without the kill aspects. Because from what I heard, at least for me, and one of the reasons why I don't buy the mythic weapon skins, even like the entirety of the full set, is because I feel like the kill aspects are so distracting. Like, I don't know if it's just the ADHD brain of, ooh, there's something shiny, but I feel like the ultra skins are a similar thing, where I've seen a lot of people be like, I think the skin is cool, but I won't buy it because the kill aspect is really distracting. And it's like tagged on for no reason. Also, the other cosmetics in that bundle for Kiriko and Sierra were recycled. The emote is the same as the highlight intro, which is really lazy. God damn it, Blizzard. You're gonna charge like $10 more for the ultra skins, but you don't do something unique with the other cosmetics that come with the bundle. The intent of it seems cool in theory. I'm not paying 10 extra dollars for that. Because at that point, I might as well just get the mythic weapon, if that's all that it really is. You know, it's a legendary
Exactly.
skin with a mythic gun attached to it, and that's all it is. It's a diet mythic skin, and it's not worth it. At least not to me, anyway. I don't find it worth it.
No. But that's a perfect segue into the detective skins that currently are China exclusive, which feature Anna, Farah, Mercy, and Beth. This is initially what Blizzard is calling a test, but it's exclusive to China. And only 3 of the skins, which are the Anna, Mercy, and Bap skins, are going to become global. The Farah skin is what they like to describe as a evolution skin, which literally just changes color. That's it.
Even in the Overwatch Cavalry post about this, they said it was an ultra skin. Basically the evolution skins are basically, if a skin is region locked, it'll have that title if it becomes global. And I find that really stupid. Either have everybody get the skins or have that one region get the skins. Don't
Mhm.
bother giving them a new label, give it for everybody, or nobody gets it. And
Yeah.
for such a silly reason as well. Like the Farrah skin, I think all that changes appearance wise is that she changes her pants. And it's like a glowing effect of her changing her pants, and that's it. That's literally all it is. Like,
Mhm.
I'm no. And if it's classified as an ultra skin, it's $10 more than a regular legendary skin, which I don't think is necessary, and it's not worth it. Something that was worth it though was the collab skins that we got this season with the Japanese pop duo Yoasobi. You've probably heard some of their songs, even if we can't actually play them here for you. You've probably heard some of their songs. Literally go to their Spotify or their Apple Music or whatever, listen to their popularity. You've heard of them before. I think when this collab was announced, everyone was like, wait, really? These guys? Okay, but like, why? Because the previous music collabs we've had were mostly K-pop, with specifically La Seraphim, and that's a global, worldwide known K-pop group, right? And once again, even if you didn't like the group or didn't like their music, at least the skins, even if they had a lot of branding on their clothing, at least they still looked cool. With the Yoasobi skins, they kind of learned of like maybe not have the branding, but still make it look cool. And there was a song, much like the first La Seraphim collab. They had a song in correlation. I listened to it; it's actually pretty good. Um, but I remember when this came out, everyone was like, they were a little confused as to like how did this again, kind of like how the La Seraphim collab came about. They're just like, what? Where's the demographic that crosses over to this? But apparently a lot. But overall, the skins include Kiriko, Genji, Hanzo, Mizuki, Juno, and Onron. So we get 6. We had previously learned about 3 of them, which was the Kiri, Genji, and Hanzo skins. And honestly, all things considered, this is a really good collab. The skins all look cool. There's little bits and pieces of their like abilities or what have you that make it specifically exclusive to that collab. They have the dance emote, much like the La Seraphim one. Um, but where did the Onron and the Juno and the Mizuki come from? I think people were happy that Mizuki got a part of it because that's another Japanese hero and that makes sense lore wise. Why is Juno and Onron there? Again, their outfits look amazing, but why were they attached to that? Other than just they were scared that this wasn't going to make money, even though Kiriko's already in the bundles. So I'm
I
not.
think I
I'm
think
not
it might
entirely
have
sure.
just been they already have 3 guys, so they do 3 girls, and then they're just like, let's just add 2 other Asian heroes, I guess. But like
I guess.
they could have added Shion, but I feel like Shion doesn't fit the vibe because this is very it's very like this collab was perfect for this season because it's Japan themed and the skins are very Neon Junction themed. So
Mhm.
I think it works.
Yeah, I do as well. I do agree. I don't think Shion really fits the vibe. I also don't know. Like, we don't know the ins and outs of how these collabs work. So we don't know if this collab came first before Shion was in a decent state where she was released, or if this came afterwards. Like, we don't know, because I think the La Seraphim collab, both of them, I think the members picked which hero they wanted. I don't know if the Yoasobi, I don't know if Yoasobi did the same thing where they picked each hero that was involved, or they had like a
I feel like they probably did because they're a duo and it's a guy and a girl, so I feel like having guys and girls is perfect.
Mhm. It's and again, it's also a different thing from the La Seraphim collapse because the only male skin that came from that was the Junkrat skin, and that was a free skin you could earn.
Mhm.
Everything else was paid, and everything else was a woman. Like a woman got all the skins. Which, speaking of, you only got cosmetics for free. Like, there's no free skin that comes with this collab. You you basically had to pay for the skins, and only like supplementary things like banners and icons and whatever were free with challenges. There was no like free skin or anything, which I kind of wish that they did something with that. I kind of wish, but I can also understand why they didn't do that. It's just like kind of a shame.
Mm. What are your thoughts on
Um,
them, Brittany?
Yeah.
The evolution skins.
No, the
That
Yowasabi collab.
Oh,
Well,
your
both,
Sabi
both, I
collabs.
guess. You can.
Okay. So yeah, I just don't understand the whole like. Okay, okay. First of all, it's China exclusive, so like, whatever. Secondly, like, I'm glad Farah is at least getting a skin, but why in the world is it like? Is that the concept? Like, her pants just change. Like, why does that work like that? Like, I don't know. It's just so odd to me, and I just don't
Yeah.
understand it.
Well, that
especially because the
and
game is in first person, so you can't even see the pants changing
Unless you're
anyways.
playing Stadium, because in Stadium you can go into third person.
yeah.
Even then, I don't understand how some I don't know how people play in Stadium in third person, but that's beside the point. I do like the skins; they look cool. Yeah, I really do like them. But as you all had mentioned earlier, why in the world are Juno and Armand there?
hmm Like I can
Like,
Mizuki makes sense because it's the Japanese collab, but then I feel like they were just like,
all
ah,
of
shit, we
yeah.
need 2 more Asian heroes.
Was Shion not out at the time? But that's
No, she was, but
she.
she doesn't really fit the theme though. She
That
doesn't really fit the theme
sure.
that this goes for.
Yeah,
I think
she
she would look
doesn't.
cool with this art style. I think she would look cool with
Yeah,
like the street fashion thing, but she doesn't
yeah,
really
Yeah.
fit.
yeah. I understand that she doesn't fit, but at the same time, it's like she is the only the last Japanese hero as well. So it's like it's just so uh, confusing just to add Armon and Juno that when they have no correlation to this. Yeah, I don't know. And then again, and it's also the same thing. Why is Armand getting skins like this? Like, it looks good, but it's like it's just not related to anything regarding her. Yeah, I don't know.
I feel like it
No,
would
but
have
at
been
at
fine with
least
just the core 4 and then that would have
Yeah,
been perfect and
yeah.
then
yeah,
the other 2 aren't
Yeah,
needed.
because Kiri and Genji are big money makers already. And Mizuki, this is his first real like good skin that I think people unanimously agree is good. And it's his
yeah.
first collab skin. So
hmm
it makes sense that he's in there. Same thing with Onron. You can make an argument of it's her first collab skin. And honestly, she has one of the better looking skins in this collab. I gotta give them props for that. And weirdly enough, she fits this like street style very, very well. Like
Everything except the hat.
surprisingly. The hat's a little bit. You either get the headphones or you get the hat. One or the other. I don't. Why is my thing is why is Juno there? Again, the outfit is cute, but like, why Juno? You already have Kiri and you have Genji for your moneymakers. Why do you need another one with Juno?
And people
Like,
basically froth at the mouth for Mizuki, so
yeah, yeah. Do you want to rank the skins and like which is our favorites? I guess.
well, I have a bias.
I know you do, but like we might as well like rank the men and the women separately, maybe.
Hanzo, Mizuki, Genji, Kiriko, Juno, Anran.
Really? I'd say Mizuki, Onron, Juno, Kiri, Genji, Hanzo. I feel like they could have done more with Hanzo's. I feel like they could have done more with him. And I don't know about the purple Willy with Genji. I know purple and green are complementary colors, but I feel like they could have done a bit more with that. And ironically enough, Kiri's is probably the least interesting in terms of her outfit for the women, at least. Which is really funny because she was the one that was advertised. She was the first skin we ever saw for the collab, and the fact that hers is just really really busy in like a bad way. But I don't know how to describe why it's bad. It's still a good skin. Like, don't get me wrong, this is a really good skin. I just think it's a little bit too busy for me.
If I was to rank them, I would probably say Mizuki, Hanzo, Genji for the men. But I could see Hanzo and Mizuki being interchangeable. And then for the women, for me, I feel I would say Juno, Anran, and Kiriko, I think I would go with that for the one. Because reason like I think for, Mizuki like I just really like the style it's going for, and I like the effect on the hat. I think that looks cool. And then
Yeah.
Hanzo just looks like outfit. It just like it looks great. And then Genji's it does look a bit off. I'm not a huge fan of the hair, but it's fine. But like it's overall not a bad skin. It's just definitely like my least favorite of the three. Even if I was ranking all six, like it would be my least favorite of this of all six of them. Or Kiriko. I'm not a huge fan of Kiriko's personally. It just it's not really giving much. It could be the angle of like how of her because of her stance, so we're not seeing much of it. But okay, that looked like someone completely different. Anywho, yeah, I think I'm just not a fan. And then when it comes to like Juno Dev, to me, Juno looks really good. I love the sunglasses. I have yeah, Juno just looks really good with it, and Arman also looks really good. I would say I think Juno would be my personal favorite out of all of them.
I agree. Or the Mizuki, because I feel like the Mizuki skins, because he had a, was it last season he had a free or like a battle pass skin, an
It was
ultimate
the
battle pass
$10.
skin that looked
I
it was
yeah,
ass. That's all I'm gonna say.
I think it was the $10 bundle. I don't remember if it was last season or the season prior, but it was the $10 bundle skin, and it looked really bad. I don't know if it was the hair that they gave him or if it was the outfit they gave him. I don't know, or the fact that he didn't have a mask on. I have no clue, but it looked really bad. So this is the first time that I think they did this like styling on him, and it works well because I do think it looks good on him. I think that the style really fits his personality, but this is like their second go around of like straight fashion, and it worked in spades. I think their first attempt was like not the greatest. It was like
Yeah.
multiple things. It was like things in isolation were good. Putting it all together looked bad. But overall, I think this was a pretty successful collab, considering that Yoasobi's not as famous or as well known as Le Seraphim, in comparison at least. But again, you could easily wear these skins and you would not be able to tell that it's the Yoasobi collab. With the Le Seraphim ones, they have the branding like everywhere. You know that this came from the Le Seraphim collab. But for this one, they don't make it as obvious with their branding, and I think that works to its benefit a lot.
It's very niche, while also
Yes.
being it fits the theme of the season, which is great. Which they need to go back to that, by the way, Blizzard. Go back to themed battle pass skins.
Please, Blizzard themed battle pass skins, please. Which, speaking of, we might as well talk about the stuff from the battle pass. We might as well. This season was all over the place in terms of its skins. Some of them were really good, some of them were really ass.
The clusterfuck.
The clusterfuck.
Yeah,
Let's talk about do you want to talk about the good ones or you want to talk about the bad ones first?
can talk about the bad ones because I do want to make a point regarding the battle. But I remember when the season had started. Originally, I said this in the I said originally I didn't want I skimmed through all the skins that were there, and I made a comment. I was like, I don't think I'll be buying this season's battle pass because I'm just not a huge fan of the skins. They just didn't really interest me. They just didn't look the best at all. Like, it was definitely all over the place. I ended up buying the battle pass because I I wanted the Mercy mythic weapon, but yeah, overall, like the skins were just not it for me.
Yeah.
More than half of these skins I think are bad.
Mm-hmm.
I like well, some of them are also epic skins, so I'm gonna give them a bit of slack because they're epic skins. But at the same time, we've had good epic skins from previous battle passes and even from like years past. And you're like, really?
Yeah.
That's an epic? I thought that'd be a legendary, or vice versa. So let's just get some of them out of the way. The Hazard and the Winston skin, they're just kind of whatever. I get what they're going for, but you could have done something more with this.
I've
This is
the
just
Winston has a beard for some reason in this skin, and it kind of bothers me.
I didn't realize that.
Oh my god, you're right. Why does he have it like that?
I don't
That
know.
makes I don't get it.
Moving on to the
I don't
Genji skin, there was a shop.
I
There was a
I'm-
shop bundle that was called Anti-Hero, which was Reaper and Widow, and this Genji skin looks like a reject of those two.
I think maybe it was supposed to be a part of it, but they're like, it's not done yet. We'll put it in the next battle pass. It looks so weird and out of place, and it also just doesn't
Yeah.
look good.
I don't understand it. Like, it's like, why is he? What is the skin supposed to be? Like, what is it?
It, it's not his best skin ever.
No, not by far. I can't tell what's worse. Is it the goggles? Is it the newsboy cap? Is it the fact that there's a weird bandana thing that acts like a ribbon or something behind his head? And I'm just like, it's connected to the goggles for some reason. I don't know, dude. Like, it's not good. It's not one of his better skins. The
No.
Lucio skin, I think, is the bar. This is like, I think the Lucio's the most. It's not inoffensive, and I'm happy Lucio's getting something, but it's another epic skin, I think.
Yeah.
So they're not really doing much with it, but I think it's like the second best epic skin out of like all of these.
Mm-hmm. The Freya skin is just Freya in different clothes and blonde hair. That's it.
Yeah, there's not
I
really much
do
with the Freya
like-
one.
I do actually like the Freya one. I mean, I don't know how Freya skins look, and I don't think I would touch Freya, but I do personally like the skin. It doesn't look too bad.
Mm-hmm.
I like it too, but it's definitely not one of her bests. Again,
Yeah,
it's pretty average, yeah.
Yeah. I don't hate it, but it's okay.
Next, the Junkrat skin, and
Right.
therefore subsequently the Zenyatta skin. I love the Zenyatta skin. It's surprisingly an epic, but I think they change it just enough that you could have scraped this by to be a legendary. I love
Yeah.
it. Zenyatta's my second most played support hero, and my second most played hero in general. So this is like, I really like this. It's more simplistic, but I think the simplicity really works with it. I really like it. It really fits the theme.
Also, Samba's not in this.
She's not in the picture, but she is in the
Yeah.
battle pass. But yeah, we'll get to the
Yeah.
Sombra skin in a second. Yeah, let's just get through to this picture here. The Junkrat skin's okay. It's not bad, but I feel like you could have done adding more to it, but I don't know what you could have added to make it better. It's like, okay. The Domina skin was the $10 bundle that came with it. It's just her in business casual, like, or
I
in
like
business.
it. I
Giving
like
teacher.
It is
A
very
lot
much
of you, a lot of you were saying Super Nanny, which is so iconic. 'Cause,
Yes.
Yeah. It's that is so iconic. Just like seeing, like, it does fit. I really do like it. I feel like it fits her character really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like the Domina skin a lot.
It works well with its simplicity. It's only an epic skin, but it works well with the simplicity of it. Cause she probably wears this to like business meetings and stuff like that. So.
Oh, there's the cast skin too that's not in that
Oh,
picture.
perfect. Good. All right. Next, the Sombra skin. I think this was the last, like, this is like the level 80
Yep.
tiered skin. This goes along with the Freya skin, the Summer Festival. I think it looks cute on her. I think this is a cute Sombra skin.
I personally think like between like if I was to like look at all of the battle pass skins, I would say like for me like the top two is like Dominant and Sombra. Like those like this I love this Sombra skin. If I really like how her hair. Obviously, in a lot in her like base skin and a lot of other a lot of her skins. Let me have a look. Like her hair is like part of it is like cut off
It's two
yeah
braids. It's two braids, like two
yeah
pigtail braids. Yeah.
yeah, but like in this skin her hair like you can see like obviously she has a hat on, but like you can see that she has I don't know what you are those pigtails. I don't know if you would call those
They're
pigtails,
they're
but
they're pigtails in the sense that there's two on the side of her head, but they're
yeah
clearly braids. Yeah.
yeah I really do like that. Yeah, I just really like this skin. I think like between hers and Domina's like I like they're like top two for me.
Hmm.
What about you, DY?
I love it. It's very Sombra coded. Like I feel like it fits her very well.
It
I
gives off
agree.
like
Yeah.
her like whole like she's kind of a diva. It gives
Yeah.
off that.
Mhm.
And then there's the Cassidy skin, which
I
is
almost
just
forgot this.
him as a cowboy.
I didn't
Yeah,
even
I
And
almost
like
forgot about this skin.
I didn't
I
even
love
know there was a
Cass.
Cass
Like,
skin. I did not even realize that existed because I use another
I
Cass
think
skin.
this wasn't that part of the Ultimate Battle Pass with the Shion skin. I don't think this was in the actual like regular Battle
Oh,
Pass.
okay, that makes sense. Yeah, because I have not seen. Yeah, that's what makes sense as to why I haven't
yeah,
seen it
I think it
myself.
was, yeah.
Yeah, this is just him as a biker cowboy. That's kind of all it is. It's more, again, it looks good on him, but it's kind of basic, all things
Hmm.
considered. He's done concepts like this years past and have done it better. Again, not a bad skin, but I feel like we've done this before and it was better executed in other skins. We might as well, since we're on the topic of skins, let's talk about some of the skins that were in the shop. Let's talk about the summer skins. I believe we briefly talked about them, but they started doing this thing where every year, a select few heroes get new swimsuits for summer skins. This was already kind of a thing, in years previous with the summer game skins, so that's kind of like in line with it. And this year we got the On Run skin, which we kind of briefly talked about. Doomfist gets a new skin. Vendetta, Juno, and Widow gets a swimsuit skin. Overall, I think they're all like really well designed. I do not understand why there's repeats. Like the Widow skin looks great, but she already has a summer skin and she has a recolor of that summer skin. I don't know why she needed another one.
I didn't know she had
Arguably,
a
same thing
recolor.
with Doom. Yeah, the recolor's something else. And then Doomfist had a free epic skin that you could get with some challenges. That was his summer game skin. So now he has a legendary that you can purchase for 20 plus bucks. So yeah. But the new
Personally,
ones
I
we do
like
get,
I
yeah.
like this Doomfist skin better than the original.
I do, yeah. I do like it. Again, it's an added because it's a legendary. But the new ones we have is the Onron, the Vendetta, and the Juno. What are we thinking?
Uh,
Because I
yeah,
don't hate them. I genuinely think these are really good skins. Um, the Vendetta one I find a little bit basic, if that makes any sense.
yeah,
I
but
don't know. I feel like they could have done more with her design with the actual swimsuit. It looks great on her, don't get me wrong, but I felt like it needed something more
Hmm.
to it. The Onron skin, another one that good. I feel like it should have added more to it, but I don't know what.
I feel like it also needs to be red instead of the
Yeah,
blue.
why is she in blue? Why is she in blue? You
yeah,
could have
that
made it
this
red.
is yeah, this is what I was like talking about. How like Amran is just like her skins like it's not relating to who she is, like I
That's why
do
I
like.
like the Yoasobi skin so much. That's why I like the
Mhm.
Yobi skin so much because it adds like the vibrant neon colors that I think that I personally associate with Onron. So having her in like bright oranges and bright reds really work. But then when you have her in something like blue, it looks great on her, but it's just like I wouldn't expect that to be in her color palette 9 times out of
Yeah.
10.
Yeah. I do not like the Juno skin. I know orange and blue is her original like outfit color in the like her default base Overwatch skin, but I feel like it doesn't work for this skin, and also stop making her blonde.
Stop making her blonde. Also, Blizzard, you could have done something really funny. You could have just had her be in a wetsuit and have her bring back her helmet again.
Oh
Stop
my
having Juno
goodness.
not have a helmet.
Put her
Give
in
her her
a
helmet.
diver costume.
Yes. You could have put her in a big heavy like diver costume. It would have been really funny.
It's time to go
Like
swimming, guys.
yeah, like please. I know in the comics she's since stopped wearing her helmet, and maybe that's why they're not putting her there, but this could have been a good opportunity to bring it back. Also, why is she blonde? You could have kept like I think the hairstyle is cute. Why is she blonde? One of her defining things other than her helmet is her like unnatural purple hair. You could have done something. You could like I don't know. I felt like if something or other. But I do agree
Yeah.
with you though, DY. I think the orange and the blue, it does work with her original skin because they're vibrant colors. The blue is a lot more deeper and the orange is more neon and vibrant. When the orange and blue are, well, at least the blue, at least, they're more muted, so they don't mesh as well. And then the blonde just doesn't help it. Maybe if the blonde wasn't a blonde and it was a different color, or maybe her original color, it would have kind of worked. But yeah, I just don't think the orange looks well with this like mismatch of what it is. I do like, however, that her boots are roller skates. Like she's technically not wearing like a bathing suit like the rest of them are. I guess with Onron is the only exception where she has a bikini bra but then has like jean shorts. But I like that Juno's boots are like roller skates. I like that. I think she would enjoy roller skating. I think she would like that. So I like that
Yeah.
little detail. But like I don't know, you could have done a little like role reversal for Juno and like again, she looks great in the outfit, but you could have played up the fact that she's never been in water before and you could have had her have the diver suit. It would have been funny. Like like you could have done something with it. I think probably ironically enough, I think the best one out of this bundle is either the Doomfist or the Widow skin, even though Widow already has a swimsuit skin, which is really
Yeah.
funny. Do you have any other
I
thoughts on it, Bryn? We
I'm
know.
like, yeah, I'm thinking. I don't know why, but I feel like Arnold would fit better with Juno's skin, the
Yeah.
outfit.
Mm.
I feel like that would have been better for Arnon, and then I don't know if Juno would fit Arnon's outfit, but yeah, I don't know.
I can see the vision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um.
Again, bringing that like warmer color scheme back into Onron to give her of like any hint that she has
Yeah.
like fire bending powers or whatever.
Yeah.
Just like a little bit.
Um. When it comes to or skins vibe, my personal favorite is of course the Widow skin because I am a Widow main. Um. I just really like it. I personally love the hair. I feel like it matches so well because in some a lot of people in summer they like to get highlights in their hair. So I think that it just fits her. It fits really well having highlights.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Mhm.
I really do like that. Um, yeah, I just really like the skin, and yeah, I definitely. It's the only one I bought out of all of them. Um, Yeah, it's a great skin. I do like it.
Mhm.
Next, last season, we had what was called the date night skins. Basically, in China, of all places, they had a collab with Burger King, of all people. Don't ask, I don't know. And some of the skins that came with it originally was a Genji, Junker Queen, and Mauga skin. And then now there's part 2 where it has Cassidy, Juno, and Lifeweaver as a part 2 to this like date collab. The only one that's not a part of this collab that was in the original is Diva, but that's because we only saw Diva like just her and not her mech. So I don't know what they would do with the mech. But
Well, these skins were originally in a China exclusive Overwatch event, which was a continuation of the original Overwatch from like 2022.
mm-hmm. Or 2023 actually, somewhere
Something
that
like
somewhere
that.
like early years, yeah. So I am happy that they got that they brought it over. The skins included with bundle number 2 is Cassidy, Juno, Lifeweaver, which honestly I think that's my ranking of these skins. I think Cass is fantastic. Other things aside, I grew to like the Juno skin the more I looked at it. The Lifeweaver, he's just wearing white. I felt like you could do a bit more than just have him wear white, but
The
still,
Lifeweaver
he looks.
just looks like he's at a wedding.
It kind of does. Which
Honestly,
I
very. I honestly, I think if that was his wedding outfit, I would honestly like that looks iconic.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, the Cass one is perfect.
Cass is
Although
perfect.
I'm glad they kept the hat because we've stated this prior. Every single time he doesn't have a hat on one of his skins and he uses an emote that involves a hat, the hat just magically appears. But in the original Loverwatch thing, he didn't have his hat on, which like I said, I'm happy they left the hat on because I think it looks
Well,
better.
yeah. Wasn't the original event when it was worldwide? It was only 3 heroes, and
Yeah,
he wasn't
it was
there.
Genji, Mercy, and Hanzo, and then
Yes.
I think last year.
Somewhere close, China had a refresh of it, or they had like a second version.
Yeah,
20
last year.
last year, 2025. So yeah, some of them have like a nighttime version, and the other ones have a daytime version. So the Junker Queen, Mauga, and the Genji came from I guess the Hanzo one as well. They came from the daytime version, and the nighttime version is the Juno and the Lifeweaver skin. And the Junker Queen is the nighttime as well. So you had three from one time period and the other 3 from the other time, like within the date, which I actually kind of appreciate.
Yeah.
I like that there's the difference for that.
I think I agree with you saying the cast Juno Lifeweaver.
Yeah, I appreciate that Juno somewhat has her original hair back, but I think I don't know why her hair is lilac. You could have made it, I like the hairstyle on her. You could have made it her darker hair, and then it would have contrasted more
Mhm.
yeah, with
with
the
it. I feel like
scar.
I feel like the lilac hair like drowns her out a little bit. If they had more contrast of the hair, it
Especially
would
with
have
the little
been better.
yellow streak and the
Yeah.
berets or the clips. I feel like the yellow and the purple clash too much, even though they're like complementary.
Yeah, I feel like a darker purple would have worked. Maybe you could have maybe had the same color, either her original hair color or the color of her skirt, maybe
Yeah.
as her hair color.
Yeah.
Something like that.
When it comes to these skins, I think the cast skin is my personal favorite. My only thing is, I just don't know how to feel about it being purple and white. I just don't. Because I don't know. I feel like those colors. It's just not getting to me. And then
Yeah.
Jujuno skin, like I do think if she had her natural hair color, it would have fit well. It would have matched her skirt. I think that would
Mhm.
make it look better. But yeah, I don't know. The Juno skin is not really. And then the Lifeweaver skin, I do like the Lifeweaver skin, but of course it is a bit basic. Although if that was like a wedding outfit, fantastic.
Yeah. I do hate the fact that the rose is a permanent part of the skin. I wish it was like an emote or something, but
It does stand out a little bit. The fact that Cass just has it is really funny that he's holding a rose in between where his normal cigar would be, but I do admit it is kind of distracting and like not a good way. But still,
mhm.
good skins. But I feel like we've talked a lot about skins. Let's talk about some gameplay that actually happened during this season. Starting off with Stadium. Stadium got axed this season
Rest in
because
peace.
rest in peace, Stadium. You lasted like a good few seasons to like half a year. You did good. It's just it's sad that it got killed off, but at the same time, numbers don't lie. Like the mode will still be updated for like balance changes and stuff, but the reason why it died out was because there was no new added stuff to it. And also the balance team were trying to make it more serious when the reason why it was so popular was because it was more silly and you could do like really funny builds with it.
Yeah.
And I feel like that was the appeal of it. And then when it became more serious and specific heroes stayed meta every single time, it was like it kind of killed the fun. And then again, barely adding any maps, no new heroes really were added. It either should have
It's
stayed with
definitely
its
a
original roster or
it's definitely a
everything.
it's definitely a double-edged sword because they're they say the numbers have died, but that's also because they haven't added anything since the beginning of the year. So like it's kind of on them. I don't know.
It's
I
yeah.
feel like it initially should have been maybe the original 21 heroes that were way back in Overwatch 1. I feel like that would have been fine. And then adding heroes, I guess, at some point. I also feel like it's probably harder for them because then they have to like figure out all these different magic powers that they have to give to these characters and stuff. And I can imagine the animation and stuff for that is hard because one of Moira's things is that she can have like multiple orbs.
Yes. Sure.
It was 3 orbs at a time. Yeah.
She can do 4
So-
actually.
Oh, 4.
Yeah,
Oh,
4.
sure.
Yeah, it's 4.
She can do
Maybe
one. She can do
5.
like
I was playing earlier and I thought I saw 5, but I'm not sure.
it's
I don't remember.
it's either like 3 healing and 1 damage or 3 damage and 1 healing, something like that.
Yeah,
I
she
don't
can do
remember.
something like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm the only one here who actually like plays Stadium, and and like I think Stadium. I like the idea, but it's not executed the best. I do think I feel like I feel like when I look at Stadium, I don't know how much y'all are aware of like MOBA games. Like there's like League of Legends, Pokemon Unite, Mobile Legends. Like there's those types of
Deadlock, I
games.
guess. Deadlock kind of counts as a MOBA mixed with a hero shooter. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and I feel like that's how like Overwatch is like how Stadium is kind of going into that because it's like because you have like builds, you can put certain powers, you can have like certain things on it. It definitely makes some heroes stronger if you know how to use them properly. Like I have a certain Mercy build that I use that's works really well for me. It's basically just full focus on Guardian Angel and it works really well. It gets a lot of high healing numbers. And then what else is there? There's the but like there's a lot of issues with it, especially with like certain. I feel like Stadium should be about how smart can you be when it comes to building your character, building your heroes. How smart can you? Because like recently it's mainly just been Juno just spamming torpedoes and killing you immediately. I remember correctly, her torpedoes do, unless they changed it, her torpedoes do 200 damage. A support should not be doing
Yep.
that much damage. Like,
Junoheimer.
that is. Yeah.
Juno timer.
Yeah. A support should not be doing that much damage. Juno is absolutely busted on Stadium. I don't know what it is, but like, she's just insane. And it's like, that should not be possible because I feel like Stadium, it should be about how smart can you be with your builds? How can you build your heroes to where they can, like, for example, Mercy like can be countered by like Soldier, but like, what if my build focuses on heavy use of Guardian Angel, which is like, so while Soldier is someone who can counter me, if I just heavy focus my build on Guardian Angel, I can basically just avoid Soldier the entire match because I'm just like zooming around the whole map. So like, I feel like Stadium, you just have to be really smart about how you build your heroes. But I feel like then there's just certain characters where it's just like Juno, who's like, her torpedoes are honing as well. So it's like, you can't avoid it. And the fact that it does that much damage, and they're already, I mean, by default they're honing torpedoes, but like, the fact that it's doing that much damage, it should not be possible for support to do that much damage. I do feel like it does. I mean, I think it's going in the certain direction where in certain MOBAs, if you're playing a support character, you can sometimes, if you want to, you can sometimes choose to build your support as the damage build. I know I've done that before in some other MOBAs, and I think that idea is cool. But then when you're getting to the point of, but when it comes to Overwatch, you have, when it comes to support, you have to focus on that, on the healing a lot. Support really matters. So when you're just doing a full damage build, it should not be possible for Juno to dominate that hard. Like, her torpedo should not. It's just insane to me that that it does that much damage. I think it's just, yeah.
I think it's really sad that it's getting canceled because like we're literally looking like on social media and stuff like that. There are literally people like, because Stadium was the scraps of PvE. So they're like, okay, well, we have all of this, and this was the original goal for PvE. Let's do this instead, and then Stadium gets canceled. So, like, does that just mean that the idea of them doing multiple, like, skill trees and things like that was just a bad idea to begin with, or was it bad execution?
And the sad thing is, didn't Aaron's son come up with this?
Yes. One of Aaron's children went ahead and came up with this idea. Which, again, if that kid ends up going into game development, he's got his foot in the door. Like, again, I think this is a cool concept, but I think the balancing team just either wasn't making it fun enough or was making it too hardcore, or again, they just weren't adding enough content for it to feel fresh. Because I remember when it came out, almost everybody was playing it, but as it kept getting less and less content, less and less people were playing it because there was no new content.
Yeah.
So it's like DY said, it's a double-edged sword of, yeah, there was low player count, but the reason why I had no player count is because there wasn't any updates. And there wasn't any updates because there was no player base. So it was just a constant, like, snake eating its own tail of, like, what came first, you know?
Yeah. I only played Stadium a little bit, but I personally really liked it. It was just a nice refresh on the original game, but I haven't played it really much since. So I'm part of the problem, but
I feel
know.
like when it comes to like Stadia, I feel like it just, I think it's like in when you play the normal game mode, there are a lot of characters that are currently not meta. Like, for example, Mercy is not someone who is meta. Yeah, I can't still play Mercy and I still make her work because
you have to have a certain skill set to make a character that's not meta work in that game mode.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the fun of it.
Yeah, and the fact and my build currently it's been working very well. Like it's just constant Guardian Angel abuse, and I have it set to where Guardian Angel can also do healing as well because you can. Yeah, Stadium allows you to do like it have allows you to have like certain abilities. Also do other things like Guardian. Like I have I can make my Guardian Angel also do healing, which is not something you would usually do. And that's why I feel like it turns like certain characters who might not be the best in like the base game but in Stadium they might just be absolutely amazing.
Next, something that I think was once again cool theory, maybe kind of mild execution. Earlier this season, we had a community crafted mode where a handful of Overwatch creators and content creators made changes to basically every hero in the game. Um, which I'm so sorry if I'm pronouncing any of these names wrong. Please forgive me. They include ML7, Apply. We also have Oshi. I'm so sorry if I'm pronouncing these wrong. And once again, I'm probably pronouncing this wrong. Goosh. I can't. I'm so sorry. I can't. I'm so blind. But yeah, every hero except Shion has had changes.
Mhm.
And we won't go through all of them because that would take way too long. We're going to go through some of the major ones for the characters that we play, or the fact that we thought was most intriguing, or I just felt like it was kind of bad.
Some of them were really fun, some of them were really bad.
Yeah.
So much so that personally, I think me and Luna hated this game mode.
Yeah, this game mode, if you
Yeah.
had certain heroes, it was just not fun. One of them, Doomfist just became a DPS again. This is just DPS Doomfist again. And we all know how much we hate DPS Doomfist.
Yep. They added back his Rising Uppercut, which was the bane of so many Overwatch players' existence back in the day.
Yeah. Oh my god. It was something else.
Yeah.
I was never here during DPS Doomfist, so
Neither was I, but honestly, I'm really grateful for that because the footage I saw of the time where he was a DPS was awful. It looked awful.
Ramatra basically turned into a opposite of Zenyatta. His Annihilation would lifesteal at 100% effectiveness when initially it's lower than that. So that
Which
was
again,
crazy.
but I also felt like that makes more narrative sense
Yeah.
because Ramattra and Zenyatta are already two halves of the same coin.
Mhm.
So,
And I play Ramatra, and one of the most like things I don't like about it is that his barrier is timed, but in this mode the barrier lasts forever. Sigma, instead of his ultimate putting people up into the ground, up into the up into the ground, yeah. Instead of
yeah,
his ultimate putting people up into the air, it now pins them to the ground and damages them. It's like crushing them into the ground, basically. So
yeah.
that was cool.
I like the fact that his rock, the knockdown duration increases with how far you push the rock, which would make sense because gravity. That makes so
Yeah.
much sense. I'm like, oh my goodness. um, Ash, who's my DPS main. Um, so the fact that the dynamite can stick to surfaces, which I think is pretty funny, but the timer was increased. So the point of this was that you would try to lead somebody close to where the dynamites are, and you can have multiple at once. And then when they got to like the threshold or whatever, that's when you shoot them. Cool in theory. I don't it's cool it was cool in theory, and I think it was executed well. I just don't particularly like that kind of play style. I do like, however, that what Apply did, who did all the DPS, or no, he did all the hit scan DPS. He did it where when Bob is killed, because Bob can be deployed, when he gets killed, he gets a Diva Bomb explosion, which I think should just be in the game. I think the radius needs to be worked a little bit because when he tried it out, it was like delayed more so than what he was expecting. But you could tweak that. I think that'd be a really fun change. Have more utility to Bob, because if Bob gets destroyed, then that's kind of it. So I like that there would be an extra consequence if you let Bob run the lobby, because you either get killed by him from just you shooting at him, or you get killed because you blew him up. I like that there's more technical aspects to it. That you have to play more dangerously with him, which I think is really, really nice.
For Soldier, which is one of my DPS, they very similar to his cinematic trailer. The tactical visor will now target all of the enemies that are in his line of sight, which I think was really cool. It was definitely more helpful, because initially you have to move around to get everyone, but I really like that.
Yeah.
Sombra was awful in this game mode.
This it was almost as if they reverted. The one change I did not like about this was the fact that her hack was no longer there, but you can hack people if you hit your virus. I don't like that. I think the stealth aspect is cool. Again, it brings back to some of her older builds from Overwatch 1. I do not like the fact that her virus was connected to her hack. Or the other way around, the hack was connected to her virus. I don't like the fact that that was one and the same. I did not like that at all.
She was very awful to play against.
Yeah, it was. It's not
somehow she was even worse.
Yeah. Something
Symmetra...
that I think was really funny. Yeah, the Symmetra and Torb, which I think was really funny. Because they each have their own turrets, which I think is, you could add these turrets to Jetpack Cat. So you could have 4 turrets if you had Symmetra's perk, 4 turrets along with a level 3 Torb turret on your flying cat. And it was really funny.
Yeah.
It's really funny. I do like the fact of a major perk that Symmetra has is that when people use her teleporter, they get a bit of a speed boost. I think that'd be more utility for her as a way to engage faster. I think that was a pretty cool change. Oh, one of the Widow changes. For her Venom Mine, if you lined 2 of them up in a row, you could make a little tripwire, which I thought was funny. I don't know how you would use that in practice. I'm gonna be totally honest.
She wanted to be Cypher from Valorant so bad.
I like the fact that the grappling hook had two charges.
Yeah. Bap was interesting. So his immortality field was moved to his ultimate, and his amplification matrix was moved to his ability, which was weird because they were both like the immortality field was like giant, and then the amplification matrix was tiny. When you're like imagining the original.
Yeah, according to the patch notes, the Matrix was reduced in size by 65%, but when it was like in practice, it looked like you were just looking at like a phone screen in front of you. That's how tiny this thing was. This thing was so tiny. You could barely shoot through any of it. Okay, for Brig, they basically made her into Doomfist, kind of. First of all, you could shield bash in the air. Okay. And then her rally just became a Doomfist ultimate. That's all it really was.
She gets lifted into the air, according to this, by an invisible jetpack cat. Like, just say she's lifted into the air. You don't have to say the jetpack cat. Funny thing with Alari, they made her actually the sun. So whenever she uses captive sun, if you look at her, you'll be blinded.
That's pretty funny. I didn't know about that. That's a pretty good one, ML. That's pretty good.
For Jetpack Cat, she just turned into a Pharah, basically. Whenever she used the ultimate, she would just throw grenade like she equips a grenade launcher that shoots people and damages people.
Along with the aforementioned putting turrets on her. So imagine all those turrets that was previously mentioned, along with the fact that she shoots rockets.
Yeah.
This was a menace. Juno's changes weren't, I don't know, they were like okay. Her ultimate, it travels with her location instead of just on a one-track mind. Again, cool in theory, kind of confusing in terms of execution. I'm gonna be totally honest. But again, if you're playing pretty like stealthily, I guess, or just like with your group, it's a lot easier. But
Yeah, and they also removed the perk that whenever you, it's called locked on, whenever you, depending on how many people you lock onto and send a pulse to, it decreases the cooldown of you being able to use it again. But they replaced it with one that does the hyper ring, which I'm going to be honest, when playing this, I didn't notice any difference, but apparently it speeds up allies and then slows down enemies.
series was really stupid. Her healing and her damage were basically switched. So you damage people with your healing and you heal people with your kunais. This was stupid. Why? Why? Like, I don't know. I didn't personally like it. I did not personally like it. And then her Suzu can knock back enemies.
Nobody used that.
No. No.
For Lifeweaver, you could control the paddle platform.
I think it's a really good change. I think they should incorporate that just in the regular game. I think that's really, really useful. That's a good quality of life.
Mm.
Also
Also,
the
the
fact
tree
that
of
the tree, yeah.
the tree of life also reduced cooldowns, which was nice.
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, Mercy could target enemies and allies, which was interesting. But doing so applies damage to enemies when she's using Guardian Angel, which is sure.
The Mizuki changes. Allies can see the range of your healing. I don't know why they don't already do that. You can do that with Lucio. I feel like that makes more sense to just have that on already, but okay. I liked the idea of the fact that you could hold charge on your primary fire. I don't know if it really works with Mizuki, all things considered. His chain, not only could you just regularly chain enemies, but you can also chain to walls, and you're basically a makeshift Spider-Man. And I think this was bad execution. Why did we need to do this? Also, the fact that the paper doll, not only could enemies not see where it is, but also if your allies were near it, they could get healed from it. I think that's another like good change. But no, the chain on the walls was stupid. I felt like I kept missing my chain and then getting accidentally chained to the wall. And I'm like, that's not what I want.
Yeah. Moira turned into Wu Yang with her orb. Whenever she sent it out, you had to point where you were going. Or
again,
you had to point where you wanted it to go.
Yeah, again, good idea, kind of mid execution. At least with Wu Yang, you can kind of see vaguely where he's going, but Moira gave no indication. You just had to look and hope to God that it worked that way. It was like, eh.
Yeah.
Wu Yang, I like the fact that the wave got rid of the burning status, because I said that around his release. I was like, wouldn't it be really funny if the water actually had an effect on burning effects to make him a lot more useful? Usually they just do that normally.
Yeah. Zenyatta no longer healed allies. That's about it.
Yeah, I don't. It was mostly just like supplying. Like you had to, you had to aim with your primary fire to heal. So it's the same thing with the Kiri changes, which I do not like. But then your healing orb, it basically just aids your allies. Again, cool in theory. I don't really know about execution, but according to Apply, they did have input on what they wanted, but also there were some limitations that they had with some of the stuff. Like there was some like miscommunication with
Yeah.
some of the things that they wanted and what Blizzard could
And
do.
there was absolutely no playtest for it. It just
Absolutely not.
happened.
Apply said that they had no playtest whatsoever. They talked about there was no real communication and there was no real means to test numbers or anything like that. So I think this is a good idea, and I do think they should bring this back. But I feel like if they do bring it back, bring it in with new creators and see what new ideas come about it, and make sure they playtest this. Oh my god,
Yeah.
make sure they playtest it. Because I feel like every time we played it, it was always the same characters. Always.
Yep. I want Emong to do one because he's a tank main most of the time.
Ooh. Yeah. I want to see what Emong or maybe even Flats would do for a tank change. I want to see.
Yeah.
Maybe Espen could maybe do a lot of support changes, maybe.
Hmm.
Maybe Frogger. Actually, well, Frogger would probably just change Lucio and then nobody else. maybe Lucio
Make
and the
Lucio
cat.
into a tank. Make Lucio into a tank. Overall, I did not like that game mode. It was the bane of my existence, and I did not want to play it at that point.
No, neither did I. We played it for all the rewards and stuff that came with the challenges, but we didn't play it on our own time. Again, I felt like if they had more communication with the creators as well as actually playtesting it themselves, I think it would have been fine. Passable, maybe even fun with some characters, but because there was no playtesting, it was just
Yeah.
not fun. Speaking of not fun, the one thing that everyone could talk about when this was released was Blizzard doing quick play hacks. This has been a thing for a while where Blizzard will do some testing and be like, we want to see what happens if we do this for a fun little weekend. And more often than not, that's pretty decent. Some good stuff came from those quick play hacks. However, this one was the most divisive I had ever seen a quick play hacked ever, and that is 6v6. Talk to anybody who's played Overwatch, and the immediate discussion is which is better, 5v5 or 6v6. Now, Blizzard has the two modes separate. You can either play 5v5, quick play, or competitive, and you can play 6v6, regular, competitive, and unranked. They each have their own niches and they have their own player base, right? Blizzard decided
They're going to force people who don't play 6v6 to play 6v6.
What Aaron said, because he made a blog post about this, he basically said the reason why they were doing these changes or testing these out in the first place is to see how they can change how 6v6 currently is. Because the way that it is right now is it's open queue, where you can have basically anybody on your team. You can have any composition you want, with the exception of only having 2 tank heroes. And that's kind of the only limitation you have.
Yeah.
And for the people that play 6v6, it's not the greatest because you're not guaranteed any supports. And as well as there's some balance changes that they're not fully okay with. Now, the 3 of us, don't really play 6v6. DY has a whole reason why, and don't worry, I will allow you to explain yourself in a second because I want to let you do your rant on that. But when I first heard of these changes, I was thinking, oh, they're going to do with their existing 6v6 player base, because that makes sense. They decided for the 2 weekends that they did this, they were going to get rid of quick play 5v5 entirely. The only way you could play 5v5 was through competitive. And within that blog post, Aaron said that they have numbers that they showed off, which is how we figured out that Stadium was getting killed, was because only 3% of the player base, overlapping, of course. So really, it's like 6% of the player base played Stadium, either quick play or ranked. So that's kind of why they deem why the mode died. But again, we already talked about it. It was like a double-edged sword. So for these numbers, Aaron had said that over 50% of the player base, no matter what console or PC, whatever you use to play the game on, over 50% of the player base plays 5v5 quick play. And then like 30-something% is comp. Go to the 6v6 side, and you have 8% that plays ranked, and then like 16 something like that percentage of unranked, something like that. So the numbers were clearly in favor of 5v5, all things considering. But despite that, they took away quick play for the quick play 5v5 for the entire weekend. Now you're probably wondering, what were these changes to begin with? Because why would they do this entirely? Well, when Overwatch 2 was becoming a thing, one of the reasons they cited to change it to 5v5 in the first place was because of queue times, specifically tank queue times. We've said this before. I don't know if we've ever said it on camera, but I'm saying it here. Tank will always be one of the least popular roles. Always. DPS is always going to be really popular because people want to shoot things. Supports are always going to be super popular. Just because 9 times out of 10 you're going to get a lot of women and a lot of LGBTQ players playing. Tank is not really a super popular role in any game, not just in hero shooters. In MOBAs, hero shooters, anything of like survival or like MMOs, they're not a big player base. No matter what game you pick, no matter what franchise it is. So they want to try to encourage people to play tank and fix the queue time problem. What they found out, or their temporary solution to this, was a thing that they called flex queue, which was basically 1 tank, 3 DPS, 2 support. The goal of this first round of testing was that you could queue up for DPS and get 3 DPS players, but 1 DPS person at a time could switch to a tank if you wanted to. I don't think any of us actually played that version of the mode. At least me and DY didn't. Did you play it, Brittany? Did you play that version of 6v6?
Just the 2-3-1 game mode.
Yes. The original 2-3-1 version. What was your?
I did play a bit of it. I didn't really like the biggest like glaring thing was still like tanks are just dying. Like 66 just heavily favors DPS way more than it should. Because when you play 5v5, you need like it's DPS like obviously matters, but then it's like the tank matters so much more, the supports matter so much more, you know, it matters a lot. But in 6v6, it's like it favors the DPS way more because I've talked about this before. Like during the 6v6, I like to play. I was playing a Sombra a lot. Reason being because I like making the joke that Sombra is like rebelling her upcoming rework. That so I was like so that's why I was playing a lot of Sombra. But while I was also playing Sombra, Sombra's a character who is. She's a DPS, but she's not meant to be like a solo carry DPS. She's just meant to kind of like support the team in a way like she just hacks stuff. She's just her whole kit is just her being annoying. That's
she's supposed to be there to help the other DPS get kills. She like pick off some like squishies and the supports, but she's not there to battle the tank. She's there to set up so the other DPS can battle the tank.
Yeah, and she takes down the backline. She's very good at taking down the backline and taking out other support, the enemy supports. The issue with 6v6 is because the tanks are so under, like, what's it called?
They don't have good balance.
They're much worse in 6v6 than in 5v5. In 5v5, the tank gets a lot more HP. In 6v6, that it takes away a lot of the HP from the tank. And because of that, it makes it so that DPS could literally just mow down immediately. Like you don't even have time to react to like save yourself. Like, if you're like vulnerable for like a second, you will get mowed down immediately. And this is
Yeah.
but like I think, and this is the big issue I had when I was playing Sombra, because I remember Mauga is a character who is basically just built like is yeah, he is basically kind of just an unkillable thing. Like he's just
Mauga is a tank buster who he himself is a tank, basically.
yeah.
He's built like a bus.
Yeah, he
he's
is.
built. Yeah, he's built so good. What when I was playing Sombra, I remember I was going against like tanks, including Malgas, and I was soloing them. That should not be possible. You should not be able to solo tanks as a Sombra. Sombra is supposed to you could solo the backline, you could solo supports and maybe other DPS, but solo a tank is something Sombra should not be able to do.
No.
Yeah,
Like
Absolutely.
I can see her helping another DPS or a support take down a tank, but not by herself.
Yeah, exactly. And from the footage and the people, again, there was a lot of streamers that were obviously playing it, and I was watching their videos on their perspectives. A lot of time, from what I heard, if none of the DPS went tank, you basically had an automatic loss. If none of your 3 DPS went tank, you basically lost every single time. If somebody did play tank, it was a lot more enjoyable, at least for them, because it was more balanced. But when nobody went tank and it was just the one, as opposed to, if you're up against 2 other tanks on the other team, it was basically an automatic loss, which is not great. That's
yeah.
not how it's supposed to be.
I think I've spoken to this about to both of you, but I remember like when I usually play a lot of comp. I think I'm the only one who plays like I know D-Way started to play comp as well, but I usually play comp a lot, and I also solo queue a lot. Um, I remember obviously sometimes one of the daily challenges is you have to play 3 games in open queue. So I remember I decided to play an open queue game with comp, which open queue is usually 6v6. And I remember when playing that, it was just absolutely dreadful. And the reason why it was just we were just not winning was because we had 4 DPS, 1 tank, 1 support, which is just not possible. You can't play like that. Of course, when the 66 the dynamic queue was here, it forced you to do role queue, but in open queue you obviously are not really limited unless like I think there's a tank limitation. I think you can't have like more than 2 tanks.
Yeah,
But
I mentioned in the regular 6v6 you cannot have more than 2 tanks because they don't want a repeat of goats from like 2018. But Brig is in a much better place that I don't think it would need that, but I'm not part of the balancing team, so whatever.
Yeah.
so yeah, like I remember just 60 like yeah, just having to deal with like 1 tank, 1 support. Like so, like I was telling teammates, hey, we need like at least 1 more support, like because I was the one who was playing tank, but then I saw like we only had 1 support, and I was like, okay, we need another support. Like I was trying to request like, can we get two? Can we have like 2 tanks, 2 DPS, 2 supports? But like no one was really following that. Like this is one of the biggest issues with 66 is that people are going to play DPS a lot more than any other roles. They're not going to care about going. DPS is like one of the most popular roles. They're not going to care about going support. They're not going to care about going tank. They are going to just keep going DPS, even if it's not the best for the team. And that was like the biggest issue I was facing, because I remember I was trying to like win us to get. I was like trying to tell people, hey, can we like do this, do that, and finally I got someone actually managed to switch to tank, which allowed me to switch to support, and it was starting to help us. But because it was so late into the game, it was kind of just too late. But yeah, like team comp matters a lot more, and also just like 66 is just meant to like, while it is meant to favor DPS, it also just like I feel like it sometimes diminishes some of the other roles, and that's why like I feel like sometimes it's such a 6v6 is just too complex, it's too there's just a lot of issues with it.
DY, I think, can attest to this because, again, you're the only one that played Overwatch 1 when it released. But if you look at old footage from that time, before they introduced role queue, compositions with teams were so integral to whether you won a game or not. Certain tanks had certain synergies that worked together, along with certain certain supports were better, and certain DPS were better on certain maps. And depending on if you were attacking or defending, they were better or worse suited for that. When
Yeah.
role queue was introduced because of because of Brigitte, because of goats, which, first of all, people did not like the fact that role queue existed, but I felt like it made sense, the fact that they introduced 222. It was the most balanced. There's already certain like tanks that already had certain synergy you could work together. I think maybe just the way that they executed it at the time was kind of bad, but I think people have since settled down on it, you know. But me and DY did not play this original version of this. But before we get into what was the second weekend, you might as well go on your rant of 6v6, DY. You are the one that is the most qualified out of any of us in this call, I guess, that has the most experience with it. So go right ahead, take the floor.
Going off what Bruni said, I feel like a lot of the time back then, DPS was one of the most popular roles because it was originally 6v6, and the main thing that I noticed all the time is that there would always be a tank in the front, like fighting everyone, and then there would also be a tank in the back fighting everyone, going after supports and the DPS. But then the DPS fighting the front tank would also suffer as well, because if the supports get killed by the other tank, then you're basically screwed. Supports back then were basically just heal bots. They would just stand there and heal you. They couldn't do anything else. There wasn't really much fighting aspect to them. I feel like Kiriko really changed the ball on that. And probably Brig, honestly. But yeah, it was awful because I was mainly DPS, so I would be getting destroyed by tanks because my supports were gone and they had already been murdered, and it was just an awful experience in my opinion. And I like 5v5 a lot better because it's much more manageable, because at least now most of the supports can fend for themselves against a DPS, which helps. And then everyone can pretty much take down the tank with the supports. But genuinely, I think 5v5 is the better version.
Yeah, like that's the thing I've heard the most like pushback on 5v5 is that if you're not a tank player, you have no fun. Or it's like a loud majority. But there were some people that I saw on comments of like Reddit and TikTok and like a ton of other social media, but there are some people that do like the supersized tanks that can do everything. There were some people that do like that. But some older players like the synergy of the older tanks. The fact that one tank could cover another tank's weakness and stuff like that.
Well, I
And
think
how very fitting.
also with the more manageable being 5v5, I've actually started, like, back then I would have never considered playing tank. But with 5v5, with it being much more manageable, I feel like Luna could probably attest to this because she had seen like gameplay. And I just feel like it's a lot more easier to play tank than it would be in 6v6. Because with there being two tanks, the tanks don't have as much damage and health that they do.
Yeah.
In a 5v5 game.
Yeah, when they did the quick play hack, they had the 6v6 health pools and not the 5v5 health pools, which explains why they were being melted by a bastion super easily.
Well,
So me and
D.Va's normally weak against like quick, fast projectiles, but she was basically gone within seconds in this game mode.
Yeah, it was something. But that was only week 1. The second time they did this was, some people thought of it as like a balance patch. I wouldn't really say that. It was just attempt number 2. This time, as opposed to the 1-3-2 format, they had a primarily 2-2-2 format. So 2 tank, 2 DPS, 2 support, where you could queue up for any of those. And if the queue times were too long, you would then get put into a lobby of 1-3-2. And then again, if one of the DPS was not selfish, they could go tank. This was the weekend that me and DY actually did play, because there was an event, Junkrat's loot box hunt, which means you need to play games to get loot boxes. So we kind of had to play. This was a weekend we couldn't really skip, sadly enough.
Yeah. But this was also we actually enjoyed it a lot because we actually were able to get 6 people to play with us at one time. And
Yes.
I wonder, Brittany, can you attest to that? Like with having like a whole, like an entire team that you can trust, was it more enjoyable than the first time you played it?
Yeah, I think it's but like playing with a team, like playing with other people like together as a team, like it just works so much better than like solo queuing or something. Because like solo queue, like it just won't understand it properly, and like how like I feel like when you're playing it with you can like synergize. You can do
Yeah.
synergies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you could say that with like any team-based game like that, because whenever like the 3 of us, or even just me and DY duo, like, because again, more often than not, DY and I will just queue DPS and support. So if one of us ends up being support and the other's DPS, we can guarantee that at least one of us is guaranteed to get heals, right?
Mm-hmm.
But once again, I felt like with the 6v6 with this one, we barely got 1-3-2. I feel like 99.93% of the time or something like that. It was 2-2-2 instead of 1-3-2, which I do appreciate.
I feel like we only got 1-3-2 and we didn't have a full team. A full stack.
I feel like, yes. Yeah, that's true. We only got it when we weren't a full stack. But I felt like in 6v6, you either dominate or you get dominated. I feel like there is no real back and forth in between like 5v5 does. And as everyone here that's mostly a support player, we can all attest to this. It is much easier to play support and to even make an argument DPS in 5v5 than it is in 6v6, because not only do you have one less target, but supports have more agency with what they do. It's like DY said, in the original Overwatch, some of the beginner 21 heroes were just heal bots, and Symmetra wasn't even somebody who could heal at that point in time. So when you had a limited roster and when they can only do so much healing and it's crucial, it's like what are we doing? I do think that it 6v6 was alleviated because of the fact that we had perks. I felt like if it had no perks, it would have been so much more worse. But I like that in 5v5, the supports have more agency to do more than just heal bot. Because when we were playing without without like a full stack, I felt like all I was doing was heal botting. And mind you, I was playing easy enough heroes that I didn't need to like take specific corners or something like that. Like, I just felt like everyone was always on critical every single time I looked for even a second.
A lot of the time it felt like a comp game.
Yeah, very much so. And that's not a compliment when we say that either. But when we did play as a full team, as a full 6 team, and the fact that we were able to make callouts and were able to focus on one hero, it felt less like I was heal botting. Who could have guessed? Whenever you have communication in a team-based game, it's fun for everybody. But again, like I understand why a lot of tank players do like 6v6 because it alleviates a lot of the pressure. But at the same time, like, I always feel like whenever I see arguments of which is the better mode, it's always the people that played the original, like played Overwatch 1 back in like 2016, think 6v6 is better, and that the new gen players who only played Overwatch 2 think 5v5 is better. It's always the case of are the 6v6 people having rose tinted glasses, or do the new gens just don't want to change how how their play style is? I feel like it's always going to have that argument.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's such a stupid argument. Like, I just feel like they should have both and let the people play what they want. Instead of just saying which one is better, which one's whatever, just say that you have a preference. If you are a tank man, you probably prefer 6v6 more because you have more agency and more pressure, or like less pressure. And again, you can synergize with your other tank. But then again, the current 6v6 we have right now is open queue, and you're not even guaranteed to have a tank at all. You could literally run an entire team full of DPS if you honest to God wanted to.
Battle mercies.
Or the battle mercies, yeah. Like, I don't know. I feel like there's pros and cons to each of them. Just all I can think of, even though I prefer 5v5 because I'm a support player, give them, like, I don't know, just like give them the same amount of love, is what I mean. Like, yeah, the player base who play 6v6 is smaller because that's where a lot of the streamers are mostly playing. But I feel like you can still give them like the same treatment as 5v5. Give them the better challenge, the better balance changes that they do want, as
Yeah.
opposed to just solely focusing on that. So it doesn't feel as like tacked on as maybe it originally was. Because I remember everybody when these quick play hacks were coming out, they're like, "Oh, this is going to prove that 6v6 is better." I'm like, "No, they never said that. They're testing the format of 6v6. They never said that 6v6 was becoming the main mode." Aaron never even mentioned that at all in his blog post. They were just trying out which format works better in a 6v6 format. They never said that 6v6 was overtaking it as the main mode. They may just be doing it for 6v6 as it stands right now, and 5v5 will remain untouched. Hell, I think they even said that 5v5 is not being touched, like, at all. But I know people were mad that they took away the 5v5 quick play, and the only way you could play 5v5 was through comp. And a lot of people did not like that. But I understand that Blizzard wants the numbers, because not only do they want the people that already play 6v6, but they want to see if people who mainly play 5v5 would also take a stab at playing this version of the game mode, and if the numbers would change, right? They want to get as many possibilities, or as many like probabilities as possible. So, as much as it sucks, and maybe it should have been like an arcade or something, but at the same time, if they did it in the arcade, I feel like barely anybody would actually play it if it wasn't like front and center. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
So I guess our stance on it is, if you have people to play with during this game mode, it wasn't that bad. But if you're with like only one other person, or you're solo queuing and you're somebody that's not a tank, you basically suffer.
Mm-hmm.
That seems to generally be the case. I wonder if Blizzard is ever going to release the numbers for this mode. I'm kind of curious if they're ever going to do that, because just because they're doing these tests does not mean they're going to utilize those in any way. Because Aaron even said in the blog post that just because they're doing these tests, that doesn't mean they're doing anything with it. But I feel like if you're running these tests, you would do something with it. I don't think 5v5 is going anywhere. There's too many players that play it, that like overlap, that play 5v5 in either competitive or quick play. I think this is solely to figure out what they can do with the current 6v6 mode and how they can improve that. I don't think 5v5 is going anywhere. Because if that does get changed in any way, Blizzard is basically losing over 50% of their player base right then and there. And that would mean less revenue, which doesn't look good with the numbers, and it doesn't look good to investors and higher ups and executives. It'd be a stupid decision if they got rid of it. And I know some older veterans of the game would like to disagree, but I think that's fact. If they got rid of the most popular mode that they have said themselves by numbers, they're basically killing the game right then and there. And I'm sorry to admit that, but I think it's true. There's no way that they're getting rid of it. At least, like, if they do, they're not doing it anytime soon. But I really don't think it's going anywhere. The numbers numbers don't lie. So, I don't know. Final thoughts for the 6v6 mode? Any small little tangents or anything like that?
Really, the tanks just need to be buffed, really.
Yeah. But I also feel like if they're buffed too much, then it'll be unplayable again, like it originally was.
That obviously not too much, but I think just like how their health is in 5v5, I think it could like see how it works in 6v6.
Yeah.
I think tanks need to have some sort of survivability. I mean, they're supposed to tank hits, but they shouldn't be able to just get mowed down immediately.
No.
Yeah.
Because then at that point they're just turning into squishies.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Also, double shield sucks. There was a good chunk of time where we were playing that we got a ton of double shields. That sucks. And that was the last major meta of Overwatch 1. It sucks. I don't like to shoot through shields. I want to shoot the other players. When that's like the whole point of the game, so I can do my objective.
Yeah.
Double shield sucks. Next, let's talk about some lore stuff that was introduced in this season. Because of Shion's introduction and because we get more backstory and lore on the Hashimotos, we get more forward insight on some of these characters. So where do we want to start with the lore? Do we have any specific?
I think the Sojourn versus Shion, like that's the thing that was Shion's like entrance.
Yeah.
Of course, that was a great fight. I think it felt really nice to watch, like the elder of the Hashimoto versus the leader of Overwatch. I think that was a very good decision to have it be Sojourn versus Shion. I think
the way it was animated made it feel like it was an actual action movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, it was.
Because that was the cinematic where the bike was introduced, and everyone was like, "Hey guys, wouldn't it be really funny if the bike is part of her kit?" And then the bike was part of her kit.
Yeah. And that final fight between Sojourn and Shion probably sparked some tension in the community and being like, ooh, those two like each other.
Yes, a 28-year-old Omnic and a 50-something Sojourn?
It's fine. Age is just a number.
I didn't see any shipping for Sojourn and Shion, but I can understand the tension as to why people would ship it. I don't see it, but I can understand why they would go for that. Like a good opposite to Shion, because this is where we get Mizuki's, some of his lore. It was already kind of established that Mizuki is a double agent for the Hashimotos, where he wants to leave them and go to the light side. This is where we get the culmination of that, where he finally stands up to Shion and basically says, "Screw you and your abusive relationship that you've had with me. I'm leaving. Screw you." And
except it wasn't very executed like that.
No, it wasn't really.
It just happened.
It should have had.
It just happened.
Yeah, it just like kinda.
The three of us talked about this earlier, but like before we started recording. But we felt like this season didn't have as much story building as the previous have had.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And like we just said, the Mizuki Shion breakup felt very rushed, and it felt like it came out of nowhere, basically. Like, we knew it was going to happen, but like I felt like there should have been more build up to it.
Yeah. Same thing with Doomfist being alive. It was revealed when Vendetta was announced back in season technically 20, so before the rebrand in February. But she took over Talon and she basically took Doomfist out of his position by throwing him out a window. And everyone was like, they're like, oh my god, is Doomfist dead? And we're like, no, he's not. How are you
There's
gonna
just
get a
no
character?
way.
How are you gonna get a playable character if he's dead in the lore? Like, that doesn't make sense. So we knew Doomfist was gonna be alive, but I don't know. You could have had a little bit more mystery with it. I feel like it was
Yeah.
just kind of like Mick was just kind of like dropped, and we're like, okay, we already knew that, but like,
I feel
I
like
don't know.
the whole the leader being usurped is a very common trope, and people were just like, yeah, that's gonna happen. And then
Yeah.
obviously Doomfist is gonna probably come back and try to get revenge or something, just based on tropes that have happened in the past.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, let's go with next if we're gonna continue with Shion. Mizuki leaving Japan to go against Shion to join Overwatch. Again, I know we briefly talked about it already, but again, I feel like the execution of this was just it could have had more tension to it. Like some of the dialogue that was written for Mizuki's comic, I think was really well done. You can feel a lot of the history that him and Shion have of her taking him under her wing at a very young age, at like, I don't know, age like 9 or 10 or something, and then basically molding him to to be essentially this killing machine almost.
Yeah.
Or make him have that mindset. But he already like I don't know, he was already bound to leave the Hashimoto's because Kiriko's dad was held captive there, and he's the one that made Mizuki's weapons along with Kiri and Genji's and Hanzo's weapons. So there was already going to be that connection there. And if Mizuki has somebody he can rely on, that one person that you can rely on is going to allow you to get the courage to get out of that situation. I feel like if Shion gave him nobody, it made it very clear that Shion was not there to like give him any support. He probably would have stayed there. But because the addition of Kiriko's father being there, and again, I like the fact that he is there. I like the fact that there's again, it's also adding more to Kiriko's lore that they fixed up. I do like that. But again, we kind of already knew that the betrayal was happening, and I kind of wish it lingered a little bit. You
Yeah.
know, like I wanted it to still happen within the season because it would have been really weird if it didn't happen in this season. But you could have prolonged it at least a little bit longer
I
as opposed to like before
feel like maybe if
mid-season.
it happened the beginning of season 4, it would have
Mm,
worked better. And then you
yeah,
lead
like a
into
tail end.
the new portion of the season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree. Um,
That being said, Genji technically also not officially, but he left Overwatch to go back to Japan with Hanzo and Kiriko to fight Shion. And I told Brittany and Luna this. I feel like maybe this is a official introduction, possibly, because Kiriko and Hanzo in the lore have no idea. Well, they probably know what Overwatch is through Genji, but they have never interacted with them whatsoever in the many years that they've existed. So I said that this might be a transition for Kiriko and Hanzo to officially join Overwatch in the lore because Genji's part of Overwatch. After they defeat Shion, if they ever defeat
yeah,
Shion, this will be like
yeah.
an official introduction because Genji will be like, "Oh, you don't really have anything else to do anymore, so why don't you do this?"
Well, didn't they when they got was it Hanzo or was it No, I think it was Hanzo. I think Hanzo was captured by the Hashimoto. Didn't they team up with
It was Genji, because remember his mask was like glitching out.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. But yeah, basically they helped Genji escape with the yokai, which is Kiriko's like gang, basically. I thought because at the end of that comic we see that Mizuki joined Overwatch and was shaking hands with Sojourn. Didn't they also help like get Genji out of there because Genji at that point was still with Overwatch? Like didn't
Yeah.
they help? Yeah, they helped like devise a plan basically, but I don't think they had like much interaction. I think it was mostly just like plans of breaking Genji out.
Yeah.
And then that's like kind of it.
Mm.
Like there wasn't like much else to it.
Yeah.
Something else that was also put on here was some Lifeweaver lore. So there was a comic that was released that showed more of like who Lifeweaver is and who kind of Vishkar is and how that relates to Domina and more of her lore. And it was also revealed that Lifeweaver may or may not have a romantic partner. In the notes here, it says that we think that Lifeweaver's partner looks like Harbor from Valorant. And honestly, I see it. I see they kind of do look like Harbor. But was there like anything important that came from that comic though? Because I feel like that comic was kind of out of place with everything. Don't get me wrong, I like that we're getting more info on that, but when the season is so focused on like the Hashimotos and like the Shimadas along with Kiri and Mizuki, the Lifeweaver comic with Venture is like it's kind of like stuck in there, and we're like, why is that there? Kind of almost like Doomfist and his reveal that he's alive. It's kind of like shoved in there a little
Actually,
bit.
I think that's because that's a season 2 comic. I just realized that's a season 2 comic, not a season 3 comic.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Hmm.
So
I see.
yeah, I don't think that's supposed to be a part of season 3. But
Oh
yeah,
well.
but I do. But yeah, I do think like that comic. Like I don't know like why it was there. I didn't know the importance. Obviously, I mean, in terms of lore, I guess like the only like really important part was Domina working with Talon. But like we already kind of like knew that. So like, because she obviously her and Vendetta are very close.
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm. Either way, we also have on here that Shion bought weapons from Talon in her
it's
cinematic when she
yeah,
was introduced. The whole
it's
thing was that they were trying to stop Shion from getting away because they bought like a shit ton of weapons. We don't know what these weapons are for. We just know that they're probably just being used to help the Hashimoto take more territory and control of Japan. That's probably like the only thing I can think of. And because the fact that there's a working relationship with Talon, but Shion doesn't really trust Vendetta. She's like, "Oh, when we get our share of it, we're gonna bolt and leave." Because like, why would we deal? Why would we deal with that? We have our own territory, and we're clearly like the best in our region, or whatever. Why would we deal with them? We're only gonna take what we need, and then we're gonna leave. You know,
yeah. I
like
I'm
they're keeping Vendetta at arm's length as opposed to Domina and Vishkar, where they're more like woven together. I guess they have a better working relationship than the Hashimoto's do with Talon.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure, like in when it came to like the weapons, I'm pretty sure, when Shion after Shion's fight with Sojourn, I'm pretty sure like they managed to recover all the weapons. But I think when it came to like came to like giving Talon those weapons, I think Shion definitely kept a lot of those weapons to herself, and only gave like Talon only just a few, maybe just one. Weapon. I don't know what it was, but I definitely believe that Shion took the rest of the weapons for herself and just acted like the others got lost but got destroyed by Overwatch.
Yeah. Yeah, in the most recent comic as of recording this, the most recent Shion comic, she clearly doesn't get along with the rest of the Hashimoto Council. She's over
Yeah.
there being like, yeah, she's the elder, but she's only one of the elders. She's not like the main leader. There is still other people that could oppose her with her plans and her ideologies. So the fact that it's a possibility that of like, oh, I don't know what you mean, elders. Oh, the weapons were destroyed or they were all found. When in actuality, she just kept it for her own like little like section or whatever, the Hashimoto. That seems entirely plausible that actually
Yeah.
happened.
Also, another thing that we should mention is for these past ever since, I mean, not even just like we've been getting a lot of leaders. So before we had Vendetta, who then overtook Doomfist and became the leader of Talon. Then once the five heroes were revealed, we then got Domina, who is the vice president of Vishkar. Then in season 2 we got Sierra, who is the head of security of Helix. And then season 3 we got Shion, who is the elder of the Hashimoto. And I guess now it could be time to also talk about the upcoming new hero that's coming, which is Demon, who is the new hero we are getting, and she is the leader of the Mecha Squad.
Yes.
Well, I think she's one of the. I don't know if she's like the actual leader, but she is a mech pilot. She's in the same group as Diva.
She's not the leader. Like, she doesn't control everything that they do, but she's like the head. She's the head honcho captain. Yeah.
Yeah, she's the captain basically. She's the Red Ranger or the Shiro, like of Voltron.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, she's not like the main person that deals with like the government side of the Mecha Squad. She's just like the main leader of everyone that's within the Mecha Squad.
Yeah. Well, basically, the entire Mecha Squad has been a want of the Overwatch community forever. And I feel like with Demon being added, this is going to be like, I feel like a lot of people are happy that it's officially her.
Yeah. I mean, it's another East Asian character, but we're gonna ignore that for like a hot second. But DY's right. This is something that people wanted for a while, specifically Demon. Like, they've wanted the other members, but Demon was the most requested out of all the ones I've seen.
Yeah.
Like over the years.
And there's also I forget the name of all of them, but one of them is like it's like a miniature gun that looks like a drone kind of thing, which people have speculated would be a support. And I feel like having a tank, like a mecha as a support would be really interesting because it would be different from what we already have.
I think maybe the original goal was because there's 6 of them, 2 of them would get each of the roles, so it'd be a perfect 6 comp. I feel like if that's not what they're going for, that's really disappointing.
Overlord is the one.
We have the names here. Overlord?
Overlord.
Oh, yeah,
Overlord's the one I was talking about.
Yeah. So, Overlord, King. Oh, it's only 5, actually. I thought it was 6. It's actually 5. Demon, and then Casino is the other one.
Well, people were thinking Daehyun would be added as well.
I guess, yeah.
I don't think
as another support.
I don't think Daehyun is has any of it. Like, I think he does he do anything? I mean, I guess he helps Diva repair.
He just repairs Diva's
mech. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's not. I don't know if he would be added, but in a 5v5 sense, like if they did all of these, but it wouldn't really work. Assuming Demon's a tank, which she probably is, because she's much bigger in her silhouette form than the rest of them, but I don't know.
I think it'd be kind of fun if we can get all the mechas with their size, even if they're not like tanks. Yeah. I think it'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, it would be a lot different. Like I want a person who's a large person, that because we have Vendetta, she's basically really tall, and most of the others aren't really that. Like I imagine Vendetta as like maybe like 7 foot, and then I think Soldier is like 6 foot, probably. Probably exaggerating, but we have a big, strong woman who everyone speculated was going to be a tank when she was first revealed, and then she ended up being a DPS. So it could work.
Yeah. We do have some other predictions, though. We already talked about Demon, but we have some other hopes and predictions before the episode wraps up. So, some lore implications we do know is the fact that they're getting 3 maps are getting reworked, which is Eichenwald, Busan, and Pariso. The main one we're mainly going to be talking about is Busan because it's connected to Demon. And one of them is that the Junkers from Junkertown in Australia are attacking Busan because they were employed by Talon to basically fuck shit up. And the reason why we even found this out early was because people were looking at some reflections that apparently were in the game, but the models weren't there, and everyone was like, oh, well, that's interesting. I do like the fact that they're doing more lore accurate maps whenever they do reworks, because they did the same thing with Watchpoint Gibraltar was the other one that like got changed, not only because it needed a rework anyways, but it was more lore accurate. I do like that they're doing that. I do not really understand what the Junkers have anything to do with teaming up with Talon, though. I'm gonna be honest, because the Junkers seem like their own little like niche. You know,
Yeah.
they don't really care about anybody else but themselves. So it feels really weird that they're being employed by Talon, but maybe we're gonna get more info on that when
And I
season
and,
four
I,
actually happens.
and I'm interested if like what role Junker Queen would have, because I always looked at the Junker Queen as like a morally grey character. Like she never seemed like an evil character, but she wasn't like fully good. She obviously has like some methods which obviously aren't like the best, but I never saw her as like a fully evil character. I mean, in her trailer, she's basically like, I think it was like how she became queen, and in the trailer she was actively like saving people, and that's how she was able to.
Yeah.
The only thing we know really about her, an evil side for her, is that she hates Omnics, and like
she's racist against Omnics.
it doesn't make sense why she's attacking Busan besides it being Talon motivated.
I mean, is she like? I mean, I know it's Junkers, but is it like her? Is she?
I think she's just sending them because I feel like they would have shown, because from the little sneak peek of Demon's trailer, we only see Wrecking Ball, who is allied with the Junkers now after he left the moon.
Overwatch.
I feel like she would have been shown if that was like if she was going to be in it. I feel like it's just her sending people. But another thing that I've noticed people mentioning is I don't think Junkrat and Roadhog don't have a very good relationship with Junker Queen. I don't think she officially kicked them out, but she like told them to leave or whatever. But they're not allowed back. They're not allowed back in New Junk City and Junkertown. But people have been hoping that they're not going to throw away that little storyline and just have Junkrat and Roadhog be there, you know.
But I also feel like Junkrat and Roadhog, at least Junkrat is more motivated by just chaos. He just really, really wants money. Like I feel like Roadhog's just kind of there because he has surprisingly a pretty tragic backstory. But Junkrat is just the Joker from Batman in the sense that he's just crazy, and he's gonna do something because he wants to, not because somebody told him to. So it's like, but there is a whole like little mini cinematic or whatever that like showed their dynamic. I do agree that I hope that they don't leave that out of it, But again, what do the Junkers get in return if they're working with Talon? Is my thing. Like, what do they get in return? Because again, the Junkers, no matter who it is, they're really selfish. That's like the whole thing. Again, they have the battle arena in New Junk City for a reason. So like, what's their benefit with working with somebody like Talon? When I feel like Junker Queen is smart enough, at least somewhat, to know that Talon is just kind of not to be fully trusted, or at the very least kept at an arm's length.
They're probably going to
So,
be using her. So, where the fuck did Junker Queen get a giant mothership?
maybe
They're very like what's the word? Scrapper.
they're very
Like they take what they can get. Like
they're
find
they're
the scavenger. Yeah. Like where the fuck did she get a mothership?
Maybe Hammond built one. Maybe the hamster built it.
Maybe
He's smart enough. He probably could. I feel like if we're gonna go by that, that was probably given to them by Talon. I don't think they built it themselves. That was probably gifted to them by Talon or somebody like that.
Mm.
I don't think that's them on their own accord. Because I do agree, if they had something like that, it would be more scrappy looking.
It would be like a hot air balloon, like a steampunk hot air balloon, is what I would imagine.
Yes, absolutely. I don't know. I guess we're gonna have to wait and see. As of recording this, it is a week before the season actually less than a week. Before the update drops.
Yes.
So by the time this episode goes out, I think the season would have already started. So oops, that's bad on our part. We'll do it again for season 4. We'll get it a bit more on time. It's season 4. But before we wrap things up, do we have any last minute things of anything that we've talked about that we wanted to discuss? Any like last minute things, any likes or dislikes, things you would have changed, anything of that sort?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think that's. Yeah, I think that's it.
I'm excited.
Mhm.
They've definitely amped up their game from what it previously was.
Yeah. I do want to say I hope comp improves heavily, because right now comp is in a horrific state. Because as someone who plays comp a lot, I mean, in season 1 and season 2, I was consistently in gold 1 and gold 2. I was just consistently always in those ranks. Right now, I'm in silver 2. That shouldn't, and it's only been this season. So, yeah, I'm hoping there's a change in the ranking system. Maybe because I feel like I don't know. There's some. It's just really odd that that's been.
It also needs balance changes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like a silver 5 to gold 1 lobby should not exist. Like, I feel like it should only be one rank. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Unless it's like gold 5 and like silver, you know?
I think it's either got to be within the same medal rank, or if it does go to the next rank, like from silver to gold, it would only be like gold 5. But that's how the matchmaking is. Which, by the way, that's like the only thing I wish. Fix your matchmaking, whether it's comp or it's quick play. Fix your goddamn matchmaking, Blizzard, please. Like, the whole fun of a competitive shooter like this is the fact of the back and forth battle of it, and the idea of anybody could take it at any moment. I should not be allowed to steamroll a team unless they're genuinely bad, or the team steamrolls us because they're smurfing or they're higher rank than us. Because that just seems a bit unfair. Fix your matchmaking. It's been like this for like 6 months. 6 months, maybe more.
Yeah.
Fix it. That's all I ask.
Please.
Please. I think that about wraps it up. Thank you everyone so much for listening, and thank you once again to Brinny for joining us on this
It was
episode.
a pleasure.
It was a pleasure. We hope to bring you back for other season recaps. Hopefully we can get some of our other hopefully we can get some of our other friends to get their inputs if they wish. But maybe this could be a thing where every season wrap up, like this, we can have Brittany on here as another means of another perspective, which I think
Yeah.
would be really fun. But yeah, all that being said, thank you so much for watching and or listening. Be sure to follow us on all of our socials. We'll even put Brittany's socials down below as well, should you wish to follow her. But that about wraps it up for the episode.
Yes, it's been great, and I hope to come back for future episodes.
You will definitely
Who
be
knows?
back. We will force her again.
We'll force her, we'll do the Overwatch ones with her, and who knows, we might even get her to do some other ones relating to a different topic entirely. And I think DY knows exactly which one I'm talking about.
Oh boy. But yeah, until next time, this has been Dysfunctional